You are in a great spot beyond the surface on the X-Rated Sports Network, and you're going to notice a new tenor, a new pitch, a new tone to our show. The postseason is here. We are fired up, okay? Some of us might be a little nervous, but we are fired up, and we have a huge guest today, soon-to-be Hall of Famer Mike Fratello. Yes, the czar of the telestrator. I'm sorry, brief Marv right there. Will join us at 3 p.m. Eastern time. There he is, Mike Fratello, my guy, one of my dear friends in the business, one of the goats of coaching, one of the goats of broadcasting, and a hell of a guy. And he rocked a sweet man perm back in the day. Well, can one of us please ask Mike Fratello about the man perm and what went into that? If you all don't, I will. But I want on our record a story about the man perm.
You can do that.
Gotcha.
I'll leave that to you.
He said
I got you, Rick. I'll do it.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, guys, so let's dive in. We got a little bit of breaking news, okay? But I got to be I am so Doc Rivers'd out. I'm so Bucks'd out. I'm so Giannis out. I don't want to lead the show with these guys. We have play-in tournament. We got playoffs. Like, you don't deserve this right now, Milwaukee Bucks. But we got to get the news out. Doc Rivers is out as coach, separating from the team, mutual parting of ways. Shams called it a departing. Was he fired? Did he fire them? I don't know. I don't really care, okay? Forbes reported Rivers had locker room problems with veterans, including Giannis, along with Giannis being expected to be traded this summer. Doc doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, okay? Also, Doug Christie, the NBA sent out like the most confusing thing ever on that tank job last week, saying it was a I didn't want to read. It was just so confusing, but they kind of took Doug Christie's back. And I'm like, Adam, stop rolling over for these guys, dude. Bang them, okay? Anyway, Doug Christie's coming back as Kings coach. I love that because I'm a fan and a friend of Doug, but that kind of surprised me. We're waiting on Mosley, Donovan, Keith, Finch, Splitter in Portland and Brago in New Orleans, okay? We will go beyond the surface with all of that as the news comes out, and we're going to go deeper on the Doc Rivers thing with Mike Fratello in a little bit. Play-in tournament starts tomorrow, guys. Let's start with predictions, okay? And let's start with game one. It is Heat at Hornets. So let's go around the room here. Dr. X, you first, man. Heat at Hornets. Who wins this play-in tournament game?
The Hornets win. The Hornets win, and especially if the Heat don't come with all their stars. Like, I need to see Norman Powell. I need to see Tyler Hero on the floor at the same time for them to even have a chance. Honestly speaking, I just think the Hornets are in a good groove. They're too deep. They are hungry as well. I feel like the Miami Heat organization is a little splintered right now. We'll probably hear more this summer as to where everybody lies. But I think there was some issue as to whether or not Norman Powell should start and things like that. I mean, I thought that should have been obvious and realized by, who should start at that point. Wilkins, I haven't seen him in a bit either. So a lot of the players I think of when I think of the Miami Heat aren't there and aren't playing together. And there's some, undercurrent of distrust out there. So I would say I'm going to go with the Hornets. And I also want the Hornets to win because that would be an awesome matchup to see the Hornets versus the Pistons in the first round.
Ooh, we got a little bit more on that. They played over the weekend, and it got spicy. Dwight Walton, yep. Heat at Hornets. Who wins that play-in tournament game?
Well, I've been on the the Hornets bandwagon since January. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA, period, since January. it's one thing to go on a hot streak, but to be consistent over a 3-month period, to be one of the best offensive teams in the NBA, more specifically, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA, and to be in the top 8 defensively. Charles Lee, who definitely put his name into the Coach of the Year conversation, has done something right over with the Charlotte Hornets. I'm glad to see them back in the picture. They have LaMelo Ball playing as a mature point guard. He still brings the flair out at some points, but he's much more mature. I think he's conformed to the situation. KNUEPPEL is my rookie of the year. My cousin spoke about the Hornets' depth over the Heat. The Hornets may have a deep roster, but they don't get that much productivity off of their bench. So we'll see how that works out in a play-in situation. The Heat have taken a complete, the Heat have taken a complete 360 with their strategy. They are no longer a defensive team, and that's a bad formula to go up against the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets are at home. They've been more consistent. To the point of injuries, we don't know who the Heat are going to have. So I'm going with the Hornets in this game simply based on they have players that are more available and they've been the more consistent team on both ends of the floor since January.
AM,
Hey,
is
Rick,
it
real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Was I incorrect? The winner of this game, is this which seed is this again?
All right,
Win
so
two.
Plays
9-10, they're out, yeah.
Plays what? Plays 2, right?
They have to win 2.
Yeah.
Oh, they have to win 2.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. All right, so that's right. Okay, they can technically play the Pistons then. Thank you.
Right. So the loser of these these first 2 games tomorrow night, the losers go home, and then the winners get a chance. As Craig's dad said on Friday, to live. You live to fight another day. So let's go. I love that movie. Let's go to AFFer, man. Is it 3 for 3 here on the Hornets over the Heat?
Yeah, look, the Hornets on some sites have better odds to win the NBA championship than your Minnesota Timberwolves, Cam, if you could believe that. I'm not saying on every one of the sites, but surprisingly enough, there are. And look, there's a lot of action on them. There's a lot of a thought process that they're here, they've arrived, they're ready, they're there for the moment. But I got to tell you something. I'm pumping the brakes on that. I said they're contenders. I still believe that. I still believe they do win this game tonight, so we do have a 3 for 3, but I am not confident. I'm going to tell you that. Erik Spoelstra, when you get him into the playoffs, I'm not betting against that, man. I'm not betting against the Heat, who are putting up 125, 130, 135 a game too easily. The fact that this game is in Charlotte, I'll give him the edge that way. But to me, this is like 52-48 toss-up. I would stay away from this game as a bettor. I'm not staking my claim that Charlotte is walking away with this and that they're going to win 2 in a row and take on the Pistons. I hope they do. We all hope they do. We've been on the bandwagon. I'm with Dwight here as well. They're as exciting as a team as it gets. Who doesn't want to see them? KNUEPPEL is absolutely deserving of the Rookie of the Year, but even still, never bet against Spoelstra. The Heat, they've proven over 5 or 6 years when they get into the playoffs, they're a different team.
3D.
Look who has dropped in.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. The OG, the pioneer of range, the great 3D Dennis Scott. Let's go, baby.
Go.
Let's go.
Rick, can we get a gooseneck?
What up, DZ?
I want a gooseneck.
Leave it.
Yeah, right down there, baby. Right down there. DZ, how are you, man?
Hey, man, I am great. I missed you guys. I know I've talked to Doc, D-Dub, the text thread. I wish that could be a show within itself because I have so much fun. I mean, the way the cousins go at each other with the Knicks, I mean, that's hilarious. I mean, that's a show within itself. AM, your flavor. Rick, it's just fun. So I come back into the show to bring in a little NBA, but also give some perspective on the NIL, what I'm going through as a dad, what TREY's going through, what college coaches are lying, the inflated numbers. It's unbelievable, the stuff that's out there. I'm the voice of reason for our show that there's a lot of BS out there as well.
I believe
I
it.
love it. Thanks,
So
JD.
Dennis, look, we're talking playing tournament. Go ahead, Doc, if you have a question.
No, I was just saying thanks. Go ahead.
So DZ, let's go into that a little bit further. Obviously, I go way back with Trey. I mean, we've been homies for a while. I remember Trey when he was, what, 10, 11 years old? And by the way, a giant at that age. I mean, he was a big young fella, man. And now he's got a wetter. He's got a nice frame to him. And so how is that process going with the portal with your son?
It's been a lot of fun and eye-opening because it's one thing for us to, to be on TV and cover guys, but now to wear two hats where I'm a dad now. And it's real weird for the first question is, what's you guys' number? I'm like, you guys' number? You already have my phone number. What are you talking about? No. What is your money number? I'm like, we don't have a money number. I don't have an agent. I don't have an AAU handler. I'm his dad that's already lived it. So it's not too many agents can say they were Naismith High School Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year, All-American game, co-MVP, like all that stuff. Shut up, I've already lived it. What are you talking about?
Yep.
Let's go.
So what I'm looking for as a dad, and as a dad who I think my credentials say I can be his manager. So I don't need to go hire somebody to manage something that I've already done and gone down the pitfalls of this so-called world we live in now that the Pandora's box is wide open. So I say, coaches, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for an opportunity. My son has been raised, he doesn't want $200,000-$300,000. He's sitting on the end of the bench shaking a pom-pom. And we all know in this show now, when you're watching March Madness, there's a lot of teams that spent a lot of dead weight on talent they thought could play.
Woo.
And then when they got to the bright lights, they
Kentucky.
couldn't play.
How about Kentucky, right?
Right. So let's call it what it is. So a lot of these schools are smartening up, bringing people in to evaluate talent. If the kid's that good, back up the Brinks truck, give them all the money. Because why? Because there's butts in the seats that's come to watch him play. And that's what makes the university happy, because now the university can make some of that money back because people are buying tickets. So mom, dad, don't ask for NIL. Ask for the value of your son and what they're willing to give him or her to go to school, stay eligible, and play the best basketball possible. That's it. Because if you look at anything else, you'll be at 4 schools in 4 years with a little bit of money in your pocket. And guess what, guys? I got 5 parents I'm talking to right now that their kids are either on 3 schools or 4 schools in 4 years. And Doc, I know you're into everything else, but we may need a mental health doctor on this show now, because there's 5 kids depressed.
For real.
There's 5 kids depressed. $1.7 million in the bank, but they want to play. But they all been chosen and told to chase the bag.
So DZ, let me ask you this now. So because of that, I think the NIL has now infected the high school coach. And what I'm talking about, not coming into college, I'm talking about going to a specific high school to where their son or daughter can now get more exposure. My point is, I have a friend of mine that coaches in the DMV area, and we speak about this extensively. We've heard Rick Pitino basically tell the world, I am not recruiting any high school players. I want established, experienced, older players on my roster to give me the best chance at winning a national championship. We just seen Dusty May, University of Michigan, make a 2-year turnaround from where they were 8-24 just 2 years ago. They hoisted the national championship trophy last Monday night. So my point is, forget about the NIL coming into college. What about parents and players now negotiating high school NIL deals because of the uncertainty of, to Rick Pitino's point, high school players not being recruited coming out of high school.
Great point you make there, D-Dub, because if you're not, what I say now, a top 10 high school kid, then don't go to a Power 5 school. Go Power 4, go Power 3 so you can play 30 minutes a night and show all of us that you can play so we can talk highly of you. Because if you don't play, we don't know if you can play or not. Because one thing we all would agree on, coaches play the people that help them win ball games. For example, Rick, you know how good friends I am with Calipari. So I think I can say this now on this show, and you guys are getting it first. So he calls Trey Jr. He says, Junior, I like the way your body looks. You're getting there. I'm bringing in 4 McDonald's All-Americans. They're guards and wings. The bigs I'm bringing in, they're solid, but they can't shoot like you. But here's the key to that. Here's the key to it. For all the people that's listening, here's the key. He goes, Trey, you watch us play this year? He goes, yes, sir. You know who Billy the Kid is, right? He goes, yeah. I paid Carter Knox more money, but Billy the Kid kicked Carter Knox's ass every day in practice. So who did I play more? Who did I play more? Billy the Kid. Who's in the portal? Carter Knox, because his feelings are hurt.
Yep.
Mm.
That's a
So
fact.
Trey,
Yep.
come on now, I'm keeping the buck. Hold on, Doc. Last point, Doc, and you're next. Last point. So Trey, if you want to compete, come to Arkansas. If you kick the guy's ass in front of you that makes more money, I'm going to play you. That's the conversation I like having.
I like that. I like that. Now I was pointing at you, 3D. I had no questions.
Oh, my bad.
That was dope.
My bad.
That was a bar. That was a bar.
My bad.
It really was. Do we have potential breaking news here that Trey may be going to Arkansas?
No. I'm just, hold on. I'm just being super transparent because you are my guys, and I'm not letting some fat knucklehead sitting at home eating a donut, drinking some nasty ass coffee. Yeah, I just heard from the Scott family, and now Arkansas is on the list. Hell no. That's the truth what I told you.
Gotcha.
We ain't stirring anything up. But look, Trey's a great young man. He's a hell of a young ball player, and we are all out here cheering for him, cheering for you, the 100%. Scott family. You know it's all love, man.
So I can share that we've been talking to UCF, the conversation I told you about with Coach Kyle, College of Charleston, Iona, and Elon. So if I'm being a real dad, I'm like, dude, let's lean towards that high mid-major, play your 30 minutes, rock out. He goes, yeah, Dad, I did my homework. I didn't know who the hell Cedric Coward was until draft night. And he can outshoot Cedric. He can outshoot Cedric right now.
I believe that. DZ, if I could put in a vote for Central Florida, I'm down here in Central Florida. I will go see Trey, and we may even hang out a little bit more. God bless him. I want him just to be happy, but UCF would be a nice conclusion here. I'd be very, 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 very happy about that. Again, we're not breaking any news here, but
I can see the Orlando Sentinel now. Hey, Dennis Scott comes back to Orlando. No,
there you go.
Other Dennis Scott.
That's right.
I love it. Yeah, give us some Trey, man.
Hey, man.
DZ, break down Trey, man.
I'm so happy for him. He shoots the blood out the ball.
Look at it. Ooh. What would Shaq be saying? What would Shaq be saying to these shots?
He be like, wetter.
Wow.
So no, I'm just look, pump fake. Yep.
Mix it up.
Mix it up.
Oh, quick release.
How tall is he, 3D? How tall is he?
He's 6'11".
Wow.
Damn.
So
get it.
So he just got back from workout this morning. He works out at P3 over connected to the Hawks. So now he's down to 232, body fat at 5.6%. So he's
Awesome.
starting
Oh,
to
that's
fill
all
out.
right. 5 points. That's great. What? That's
He's
good.
starting to fill out great. Yep, he's starting to fill out great.
Hey, DZ, is he's not done growing, is he?
The growth plate
Or is
just
he?
stopped growing recently, middle of the
Got
season.
you.
So his knees stopped hurt. All those aching pains are growing. They're finally
Yeah.
stopping.
Bro,
So
so
he's
I
a
mean,
he's a true definition of a
Inside
late
moves.
bloomer.
Look at this.
dude,
Jeez.
Yo, he
6'11" with a wetter? Oh, come on, Trey, let's go,
He can
baby.
shoot the three. He can
From
shoot
a
the
kiss
three.
off the glass.
Jump hook over
Hey,
either
Of
shoulder.
course.
Oh, come on now.
Yep.
Of course.
Come on.
Yeah, man. Here we go. That's good.
He had
That's
an NBA
good.
dad.
Hey Rick, so you know how I trained him. How many dribbles is he taking?
2 or 3.
No dribbles.
None.
We don't
One or
take
two.
we don't waste
Zero.
dribbles. Pay attention. Ain't no wasted
except
dribbles.
for the pump fake.
That's it.
except
That's
for the
one
pump fake.
dribble.
Yeah, the
One.
escape dribble. That's it. The escape
That's
dribble.
it.
That's all he needs.
I love it.
Dude,
One
look
dribble
at this,
in your
man.
mouth. Come on.
Against a
Wow.
double? I love how quick the release is,
Hey.
man. That thing is gone.
That's NBA
Oh,
count
man.
right there.
No, yeah. Hey, what year is he going into his sophomore year, DZ?
Yeah, he's gonna be a red shirt sophomore.
Oh, hell
So he
yeah.
still has
No,
3 years. So he still has 3 years eligibility.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, DZ. So we are on Team Trey for sure. You can keep this video going, but DZ, let's we're doing predictions on the play-in tournament here. Who you got?
Okay.
Heat or Hornets?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm all Hornets. I mean, I caught the part of the show about the Heat and all that, but I just think the Hornets got a little bit of swagger going about themselves. And y'all, hey, KNUEPPEL, come on. Come on, man. Like
DZ, KNUEPPEL ain't 6'11" with a wetter like Trey, man. Come on.
No, he's not 6'8". He's not 6'11", but he got some dog in him though.
That too.
He got some
100%.
Oh, he
dog
does.
in him.
100%.
And that's what I'm most impressed about, because you know me, I wasn't sold at first. I'm not gonna lie. When he first lied, I like him. And about the third month, I said, all right, I'm convinced. I'm on this train now. I'm convinced. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. Y'all know I'm not a hater. I'm convinced. He got dog. He got grit. He's not afraid of contact. You foul him, he look at you. All right, I'm gonna go make 2 free throws next. I mean, I love the kid. And defensively, he's getting better and better. Like if Luka gave the kind of effort he gave, oh my God.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great
God.
point.
My
So I
goodness.
got we're fine. Actually, AM went Heat. So it's 4-1.
No, he didn't.
No. I still said
didn't.
Hornets. I gave
Hornets.
a million reasons why I wasn't confident, but I'm still going.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand. Okay, the tone of what you said. Anyway, okay, so we're all Hornets here, okay? Which probably means the Heat are going to win. But this is going to be a very high, right? This is going to be a very high-scoring game, guys. Miami won the regular season series 3-1, which I was surprised to see. Miami is second, right? Miami is second in the NBA, guys. Number 2 in points per game. They're elite offensively. They score 121 points per game. Charlotte is 13th in points per game at 116, and DZ will smile, Charlotte led the league in threes, okay, by a lot. Over Golden State and Boston, who always lead the league in threes, right? Nope, this year it was Charlotte.
Right,
But I'm riding the Charlotte wave. I will say this, if this game were in Miami, I would be picking the Heat. But it's in Charlotte. I got the Hornets. All right, let's move on to Blazers and Suns. And I want to go to Dr. X here. Dr. X, baby, who you got? Blazers or Suns in this play-in tournament game?
Well, who I want would be the Blazers. Sorry, not the Blazers, the Suns. I actually think that the Suns are equipped to potentially take out the San Antonio Spurs, just based off of matchups possibly. And their wings, you got Jalen Green, you got our guy, our fellow Jamaican who's from the Canadian, from Canada. What's his name again? Why am I blanking out today? Give me his
Dylan
name.
Brooks?
Dylan Brooks. You got
Yeah, man.
You got Booker, and you also got our guy Grayson Allen, who's a hard-nosed shooter. And you have Gillespie. I probably said his name wrong. Gillespie.
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 Just, hey, Doc, don't take Gillespie. For you, Gillespie it is. Okay, go on.
It's like saying iliotibial band friction syndrome.
There you go. IT band syndrome.
There you go,
I'm like, why are these names tripping me up? I'll be throwing out these medical terms like nothing. But yes, so all that said,
yeah, pneumothorax and all this stuff. Pneumothorax, it just rolls off your tongue.
Those are the easy ones. Ischial tuberosity. All of that stuff. So yeah, all that said,
exactly.
I like the Suns. I like the Suns because I think they are in path. Whoever wins this game plays who, Rick? Whoever wins this game plays who?
I don't have the bracket in front of me, but the winners of these games then play
the Thunder. The 7-8 game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The winner of this game is
Spurs.
They're the 7th seed. They play the Spurs. Yeah, the winner plays the Spurs.
Okay, the winner plays the Spurs.
Suns play the Spurs. Yeah.
So I definitely want the Suns because I just want everybody to have an appropriate matchup for the first round. I don't want something where I look at who's playing and I'm like, I ain't even going to watch the game. So I like the Suns versus Spurs. I'm going for the Suns, and I think they can actually potentially knock them out.
Yeah,
let me ask everybody.
No, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, guys, because I'm late to the NBA party, and I'm kind of feeding off a text DW sent the other day about forcing teams to win games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's the weirdest word.
Yep.
I thought that I was just like, damn, this is where we are in 2026. That's crazy. So now as an ex-player, at this point in the season, are we really worried about a matchup? Like, are we still worried about the matchup where, well, you are where you are because either you chose to tank or you had injuries or you're really not that good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the damn position that you're in. So why are we over analyzing matchups? You are where you're supposed to be because that's how good you've been all damn season. So that's my small
you know what? You know what, DZ? First of all, you're correct. But at the end of the day, teams, even going into the playoffs, were quote unquote losing games on purpose or positioning themselves to play against certain teams because they felt more comfortable in certain matchups. So while we may talk about tanking teams, again, I will continue to bring up the Knicks and the Spurs. For whatever reason, the Knicks feel comfortable playing against the San Antonio Spurs. And if that happens to be the matchup in the NBA Finals, I'm taking the Knicks because I've seen it with my own two eyes. There may not be an explanation, there may not be context, but when I'm watching the games on television or on whatever forum, the Knicks just feel comfortable against the Spurs. The Spurs, for whatever reason, feel comfortable against the Thunder. It just goes down the line. So your point is about, yes, if you're good, you're good. But ultimately, I think matchups still play a major factor when these organizations are making the organizational decision to position themselves come playoff time.
All right. Hey, keep it going here. Blazers, Suns, baby. Who you got?
I like it.
You know what? I hear what my cousin is saying in regards to the Suns because of the players that we know, but the reality is I have to give a standing ovation to the Portland Trail Blazers organization. They've had to deal with a whole lot this season. They lost Chauncey Billups as their head coach. Tiago Splitter has seemingly stepped into that role. He's ultimately going to be given the job, I believe, as the future head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. They're long, they're athletic. When healthy, they definitely present a roster that is built for today's NBA. They have a most improved player candidate in Israel's Denny Advia. They've got Kumani Tamara, who's always in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He will make all defensive teams for the rest of his career as long as he's healthy. That's how good he is. You've got Canada's Shaden Sharp. These guys are tall, they're long, they're athletic. They've got the big fella from UConn, who's definitely done his job. If Robert Williams III is healthy, he's a serviceable player coming off the bench. The Trailblazers are good. They won 42 games this year. They're one of the 19 teams that finished over 500 in the NBA. They cannot be slept on. I understand how the Suns definitely bring it to the table as well on both ends of the floor, and they may have names that are more familiar to us, but I'm not sleeping on the Blazers, man. You know what? I think Portland wins that game, that 7-8 game, and they play the San Antonio Spurs in the first round.
I'll just say this. San Antonio's going to mop either of these teams. As we go to AM Pepper, Blazers at Suns.
Dwight, I got to hand it to you. I'm backing you up on this one, man. Second, the motion. Portland's going to win this game. This is a team that is 7-3 over the last 10. The games that they've lost were to the top teams. We're talking about the Nuggets. We're talking about the Spurs already. Agreed, they're going to get mopped by whoever it is, so it kind of doesn't matter. But at the same time, you're talking about a team that understands they're going to give up their first-round pick to Chicago. It is lottery protected for the next 3 years, okay? But if they make the playoffs, Chicago takes that pick from them. And that is more than likely going to happen, and they're willing to give it up, okay? Drew Holiday. And let's not forget about Scoot Henderson. All of a sudden, a Scoot Henderson sighting in the last 20, 25 games. Kid still needs to learn how to shoot. Yeah, and he still needs to learn how to finish at some times. But, yeah, I mean, he's given him serious minutes. He's given him a serious pop. Something about Portland, they're ready to play. Look, the Suns are healthy finally, but they haven't been healthy together in a long time, and that matters when you get to the playoffs. And the Suns are playing at home, and I'll give you that matters as well. Portland seems to be a team of destiny when it comes to making the playoffs. I'm giving them their due. Matched up against San Antonio in the first round.
Mr. Dennis Scott, you have been at, I don't even know what the Phoenix Arena is called right now. It used to be, I don't know.
Yeah, they've changed
Footprint
names
Center. They changed name. Anyway, you've been exactly everything State Farm. Hi, State Farm. DZ, you've been in that arena. You know that it is a legit home court advantage. So who you got, baby? Blazers or Suns?
I have one question because everything Dwight broke down was real quick. So I have one question because I don't know the answer. Is Drew Holiday healthy?
Yes. His last game of the season, he had like 23 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Drew is good to go, Doc. Or DZ.
Is Robert Williams healthy? That's the question.
It's not.
Yes.
No. AM. You're looking at it. I'm looking at it differently.
Yeah.
Robert Williams would be in foul trouble. Drew Holiday is the only one. Drew Holiday is the only one for one game that can make the game difficult for Devin Booker, because Devin Booker will be the best player on the court, period.
Yeah.
And he can win one game, not a series. He can win one game. If Drew Holiday's not healthy, that's why I lean towards the Suns, because of Devin Booker. That's it. That's the only reason.
But Dennis, Drew Holiday is healthy. So are you still taking Phoenix?
That's what makes this one game to everything Dwight said. If you're a Blazers fan, you're like, yeah, we slow down Devin Booker, we're kicking their butt. Because there's nobody else on Phoenix that can take over one game. We're not talking about the series. We're talking about one game. We're talking about a guy that's got 70 before. So Drew Holiday's see that? You see that? But Drew Holiday is the only one in our league the last 5 years that slowed down a 1, a 2, and a 3. In the playoffs, in the finals. So if Drew Holiday is healthy and he can move those puppies, and now Devin Booker has a dirty 35 where he's 7 of 30, all that, I think the Blazers can win. But if Devin Booker has a normal Devin Booker game, then I got to pick the Suns.
I believe Devin Booker's going to have a normal Devin Booker game and be the best player on the court, and the Suns will win. The Suns have been very consistent all year, guys. They've been right at that 7 hole all year, kind of like Toronto, how Toronto's been 4, 5, 6 all year. And that means something. That means you've got traction, you've got staying power, you're legit. They play defense. You've got Dylan Brooks, who's going to put a blanket on either Denny Avdia or Drew Holiday, maybe both, because those are the two best offensive players that Portland has. Dylan's going to be on one of those guys. There is a Jalen Green question, of course. Yes, he left a recent game, right, with a knee thing. I presume he'll play, but he is questionable. And obviously he's big. If he doesn't play, my vote may swing to Portland. I'm kind of assuming he's going to play. So I got Phoenix. All right, let's move on to Wednesday's games, fellas. It is Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Blessed to have the great Dennis Scott with us. He, of course, is a big part of our team, but he's with ACC Network and very busy with college hoops and with his son Trey in the portal, and we got him, and we're excited about that. And DZ, I want you to go first here. Orlando Magic at Philadelphia 76ers, okay? And Joel Embiid just had, what was it, an appendectomy or a heart transplant? Yep. I don't damn know. I've lost track, dude. I've lost track. But Joel Embiid ain't...
Hey, can the resident doctor say what really happened, please?
Yeah. And let me also shed some light. So yeah, he had appendicitis, so he had an appendectomy. But the issue is it's how they actually did the appendectomy. If it's laparoscopic, it's a 1 to 3 week turnaround where he could probably come back within 1 to 3 weeks. So he obviously is going to miss, the playing tournament, but he could possibly still make it back. But if it's an open, which no one told us which way it was open or if it was done laparoscopic, which means they put the pins and they just blow it up, and versus they just cut you open. They cut you open, it's like 4 to 6 weeks you're out. So I'm hoping they did it the less invasive way, and that would be the laparoscopic way. And I think hopefully he'll be back in time for the playoffs. Just to shed some light on that.
So hold on, cuz you can say laparoscopic, but you can't say Gillespie?
I just said it. I had to see it.
Holy smokes, man.
I just
dude, I'm telling you, Gillespie, he's got the randomly placed S, right? And it becomes a tongue twister because of the randomly placed S. Colin, get it right.
P first.
Exactly. By the way,
hold on, Rick. My mom wouldn't be pleased. My late great mom would not be pleased with her nephew Philip McDonald right now, because she was she made me the person that I am in terms of my writing ability, my speaking ability, my verbiage, and she was on top of that for the whole family. So she heard Phil right now can't saying Gillespie. Whoo, she'd be very upset.
She'd be okay with me, though. I just look at one time, she'd be all
right. Hey, speaking of upset, I'm still upset with Draymond Green for trying to punk Colin Gillespie, okay, to Doc's sake. I'm still mad at Draymond Green for that. My God, he's out here punking a little point guard, and then he's like trying to rough it up with Maxime Reynaud of Sacramento. I want one of these guys to just bow him in the face. I do. I want it so bad. I will pay half their fine. I won't. Actually, I take that back. I don't have that kind of money. But I'm telling you right now, if you punch Draymond, you're suspended 5 games, all that. Just give him a bow right to the face. It's not a punch. Listen to me, the whole league will stand and applaud you. Every arena you go to, every nightclub you go to, they're going to buy you drinks. They're going to put you up on their shoulders and cheer like you're the coach of the Super Bowl. All right, Dennis, back to you, baby. Sorry, Blazers and Suns.
No.
Magic Sixers.
Sorry. I kind of lost my mind there. Magic Sixers.
We got you back, babe. We got you back. With Embiid not there and without using all of my bias, I can say I want to lean for my Magic, but I know you guys haven't heard from me in a while, but I still love Tyrese Maxey. Just like I gave Devin Booker the love, Tyrese Maxey could go off for 50 because Orlando's defense been up and down all season long, and he could get them through that one win to hold them down to 4 till Embiid gets back. So I'm on the fence. For all you Magic fans watching this show, I want to pick you handily, but I got a little Maxey feel in there. So Sixers because of Maxey.
Okay. Let's go to our beautiful LA studios. Dr. X, you first, and then AM, Sixers or Magic?
Well, I'm tired of dealing with the enigma of the Sixers' health. It's just annoying. I'm tired of it.
So annoying.
I'm just gonna go for the Magic. I just want something clean. I don't want excuses. He may be back for game 3 and all this other nonsense. Let's take the summer off. Get your stuff together. Let's go with the Magic. I want the Magic to win. I think the Magic can win and will win.
You're telling Embiid to take the summer off. He already takes half of every year off. All right, AM Pfeffer.
Exactly.
You know, regardless of whatever the hell just went on in that Celtics game the other night, because Joe Mazzulla is our favorite sociopath and was like, hey, guys, I don't care that you're the second and third string. Go crush this team. And they did, at least for a little while before the Magic came back and actually tied it and almost pulled it off. They have really been on a heater lately. And they are at full strength. And they are healthy. And Desmond Bane was not expected to play the whole game the other night. So it was a very weird thing that he even had to come back in. But they have enough guard play. They've got enough defense. You've seen this before in the NBA, right? The Magic should be a 3 or 4 seed. Instead, they're fighting for their lives in a one-and-done situation. Well, not really a two-and-done situation. Having to play, in Philadelphia on the road, but I'm still picking the Magic. On paper, at this point in the season, and now that they're at full strength, they are light years ahead of Philadelphia. That's how I feel about them. They are that much of a better team, top to bottom. And look, we talked the other day about this. Tristan da Silva, Wendell Carter Jr. The list goes on and on. They're 9, they're 10 deep. They can throw bodies at you. They could do what they want if they decide to play defense. The Magic should win this game handily. I'm picking the Magic.
All right. These predictions are all over the place, and I love it. Dwight Walton, you are up, and we're about to bring in Mike Fratello, but this will probably be the last take before we bring him in. Go ahead, sir. Magic or Sixers?
This is not going to change my pick. Where's the game? Please clear that up. Is it in Philadelphia?
It's at Philly. It's in Philly.
Okay,
Philly.
It's not going to change my. Listen. Joel Embiid has proven to all of us that even if he sits out for 6 weeks, he's good for 40 and 20 in a game. That's how skilled he is. But he's not going to be playing. It's going to be Andre Drummond right now and the big fella Bona from UCLA. So, that being said, the Magic have a ton of stuff swirling around that organization. The same way Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone were fired in the final 10 days of last season, the Magic had a loss a couple of weeks ago to where I thought it was on a Sunday night, where I thought the Monday morning we were going to have breaking news where Jamal Mosley was going to be fired. That being said, Mosley's job's on the line. A lot of stuff may happen if the Magic go out unceremoniously this season. They need to win. Their roster, when healthy, they have a championship roster. And what do I mean? They have size across the board. They're one of the biggest teams in the NBA. They're one of the most multi-skilled teams in the NBA. Their shooting from distance is inconsistent. They probably solved that a little bit with Desmond Bane, who had a better second half of the season. They've got size coming off the bench in Tristan da Silva and Anthony Black. They've got Goga Botazzi. They've got Mo Wagner, who's come back into the fold. They've got Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs. The list goes on and on. These guys can hoop. Is Jonathan Isaacs healthy? Even when he's healthy, another 7-footer that can come off the bench and help. For whatever reason,
I'm sorry to cut you off,
the
Dwight. They shouldn't be in the 8. With all that great stuff you saying, they damn shouldn't be in the 8.
I agree. So that being said, all the turmoil swirling around this organization, I just think the Magic are going to get it together. They're going to put it together. They're going to get a huge road win on the road in Philly, and they're going to put a scare into whomever they play in that first round matchup. I think they're that good. They're tough. They're dogs. They're borderline dirty. They will play close to the edge. They will make life miserable for whomever they play in the first round. I give them the slight edge only because Joel Embiid isn't playing. That's why, on the road.
I understand. I'm going. I'm kind of with just what DZ said. And I'll make a couple other points here. Tyrese Maxey is going to flex on these guys. Tyrese Maxey is one of the great killers that we have in the NBA. He's not really known as that yet, but because he's still kind of young and popping, right? But I mean, a lot of us have seen it already. He takes over games. Jalen Suggs is one of the best on-ball defenders in our game. He is not going to be able to stay in front of Tyrese Maxey, who is liquid. He has one of the best first steps I've ever seen, and he's going to get by you, okay? And he can make shots, and he's just a killer, and he's clutch, and I love him. I got 40 for Maxey in this game, and he's going to carry the way. You've got Edgecombe. Paul George is healthy. You've got Oubre. You've got all these other, spare parts that Nick Nurse cobbles together. And again, I think a couple of you have made the point. You only got to win one home game. Okay. And I think they're gonna, they do have a great home court advantage. And guys, Orlando is a mess. They are. I know they've been playing better basketball. The Desmond Bane thing led to an awkward post-game press conference with Jamal Mosley and follow-up questions. And you could see him kind of like getting a little uncomfortable. I don't know, guys. And I don't know if Paulo Banchero likes Mosley, right? And if Paulo kind of wants him out. And I'm not condoning that. I think that whole mentality is garbage, but we know how it goes. If your superstar player doesn't like the head coach, your head coach is gone, period. Whether it's fair or unfair. And it's usually unfair, but that's what I got, fellas. I got Philadelphia winning this game over Orlando. I'm friendly with like a ton of people with the Magic. I go to the game, so I'm kind of hoping for a different result, but that's what my head says. All right, Dennis Scott, as we've Mike Fratello is going to come on with noon at us. He's all hooked up, but our interview's at noon Pacific, and so that's what's going to happen. So let's talk about this other game here. Warriors at Clippers. DZ, who you got in this one? Kawhi Leonard missed the last game. He's going to play. And I do want to say this. It just as a setup, because some of you guys may or may not know this. It has been reported that Steve Kerr, pardon me, sorry. The actual coach of the Golden State Warriors is their medical head, Rick, forfeit the game, Scalabrini. Sorry, my bad. Okay, Steve Kerr is the actual GM, but he's not the actual coach. I know it's very wonky, okay? The coach is Rick, forfeit the game, Scalabrini, okay? Check this out. There is a report. Steve Kerr says there will be a minutes restriction. For a play-in game, your life is on the line, and you have a minutes restriction. Are you kidding me? Rick, forfeit the game, Scalabrini, strikes again. Anyway, Steph Curry, Al Horford, and Porzingis are going to be on minutes restriction for a death game. Dennis Scott,
go
ahead.
Rick. No, they won't. No, they won't.
I don't know if that report is real or not.
No, of course not.
I'm not surprised if it is real, because we know where Steve Kerr learned some of his tricks of his trade from.
Yes.
And load management came from that place first. That's where the term came from. So I wouldn't be surprised. And if we're being, as the kids would say, as if Trey was here, one of his friends, if we're keeping it a buck,
Right.
the Warriors ain't going anything anyway, so maybe you use that if you lose the game, and you use it on saving your guys to get a better draft pick and save Steph Curry for another year. So I'm going with the other team. I'm not going with the Warriors.
It didn't even matter who the other team was. He's just not taking the Warriors. I love it. My prediction is going to be very similar to that, by the way. Dwight Walton, you go next.
You know what? Because of first of all, that report is not true. There's no way you could have a minutes restriction on your star players, specifically 3 players you're going to count on to at least help you advance. Or on the other side, maybe that's the Warriors are taking a realistic approach to the game, knowing even if they win, they're not going to beat their next opponent anyway. So maybe that's their thought process. That being said, Darius Garland, Ben Mathurin, Kawhi Leonard, who's going to be, in my opinion, should be a first-team All-NBAer this season. When healthy, Kawhi Leonard is not a top 10 player. He's a top 5 player in the NBA. This guy can get his shot off on anybody. At one point this season, he was shooting 98% from the free throw line. That's how efficient he has been. He looks rejuvenated. He looks fresh. But again, health is always a question mark with Kawhi Leonard. That being said, I just think Ty Lue, who made the declaration, I want to say December 15th, the same night they played against the LA Lakers, they were 6-21. Before that game, he told his players, let's finish the season out at 35-20. What do? They go 36-19. Kawhi Leonard was healthy for most of it. They've been one of the better teams in the second half of the season. They've got experience. And again, I've mentioned his name several times. They've got Kawhi Leonard. The game is in Los Angeles. Health is going to be a question on both sides. I just believe more in the Clippers than I do the Warriors. So I'm going to give them the edge on Wednesday night.
Dr. X and then AM, speaking of LA and our gorgeous LA studios. Dr. X, you got Warriors or Clippers?
The Clippers to win. I feel like their roster has depth as well as like the positions that you need to see in order to at least challenge OKC, even though I don't think it'll be close regardless if they make it to the 8th seed. But I'd rather see Kawhi Leonard go at SGA. It'd also be nice because that's who the Clippers traded, SGA, to the OKC. So it'd be kind of nice to see that matchup, even though we just saw it last week. But I just feel like the Clippers check a lot of boxes on paper. And, the Warriors, they're not playing out. They're playing without Jimmy Butler. We know Kristaps Porzingis is on a minutes restriction just because of the pots that he's dealing with right now. So all that said, I think the Clippers are in position to win this game and should win it.
Am I having deja vu, or weren't we here last year, right? The Clippers and Warriors, didn't they meet in a playing game and have to do this? I mean, of course.
No, it was last game of the season.
Oh, it was last game of the season. That's right. Right. So that actually mattered for playing implications. But of course we're here with the two oldest teams in the league. We all knew where this was trending. This, to me, by the way, this is my Simpsons game of the week. I'm bringing out a Simpsons line for you guys. Vote Quimby, the lesser of two evils. All right? That's what this is between the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers. Steve Ballmer's evil Los Angeles Clippers. And if you're voting the lesser of two evils, well, you're voting for the Clippers. Clippers win this game pretty handily.
Hey, if you want evil, try to use the LA Clippers ticket app. That's evil. It's pure evil. It's a horror movie.
That was terrible, Rick. Yikes.
It's what, I don't watch them, but it's like you see the commercials on TV. It's one of those gory possession joints. You know what I mean? Like Annabelle or one of the, like, it's that bad, man. We got Mike Fratello coming up around the corner here. I am so impressed with the LA Clippers. Dwight, you talked about it. 6-21. Ty Lue says we're going to go 25-20 the rest of the way. The whole basketball world goes, the hell you are, brah. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? They didn't go 35-20. They went 36-19. He did even better than he said. That is, dude, that's one of the great coaching jobs that we have seen in the NBA. And he's not going to win Coach of the Year, but he should get some kind of medal or like plaque for that. I mean, my God, if I'm Ballmer, I'm like giving him a Coach of the Year award. I'm just creating one. Here you go. I know it's not the real one, but you're a freaking gangster. And by the way, here's a blank check. Whatever you need, Ty, just fill it out. I got you. Okay, that's what I would do if I were Ball. I mean, Ty Lue's an absolute beast. So Ty Lue's going to coach Steve Kerr under the arena floor. That's going to happen here. The Warriors, I want to make this point, guys, and I want everybody out there, our beautiful audience, to really listen here. The Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, the once proud Golden State Warriors, who are now a dumpster fire, are the first and only play-in tournament team in the history of the NBA that is also tanking at the exact same time. They are literally in the play-in tournament while tanking. That's how bad the bottom of the West is. Guys, Golden State does not want to be in this game. They're only in this game because New Orleans and Dallas and Memphis and Utah and Sacramento were more scrubby than they were. That's the
just
only
so bad.
reason.
Agreed.
Okay?
Agreed.
Because they're so bad. That's the only reason Golden State is in the PIT. They are going to get waxed, in my humble opinion. I think this is going to be an 18, 15-point blowout. Okay? And here's one last cherry on top. I'm tired of Kerr. I'm tired of Rick forfeit the game celebrating, and I want him to lose. I'm just tired of talking about the Warriors. I'm ready for something new. By the way, Doc, you made a great point. I mean, Jimmy Butler, it's like, where is he? Okay, yeah, he ain't playing. He ain't coming through those doors. All right, we are efforting Mike Fratello. So in the meantime, when Jason and Kai give me the word, we'll bring them on. Let's talk favorite first round series. All right, guys, here they are. The series that we know, right? There's 4 with the 1 and 2 seeds in each conference that we don't know, but there are 4 that we do know. Okay, we know Raptors and Cavaliers in the East. We also know that the Timberwolves are going to play the Nuggets again, and that was a hell of a series a couple of years ago, went 7. The Hawks are at the Knicks. Dr. X, buckle up. And you have the Rockets at the disrepaired Los Angeles Lakers. Again, Rockets, Lakers, Hawks, Knicks, Wolves, Denver, and you also have Raptors and Cavaliers. I'm going to go to, of course, you know where I'm going first with this. I'm going to Dr. X, baby. Dr. X, what's your favorite first round series?
Oh, you already know. You already know. It's going to be the Cavaliers versus the Raptors.
There you go.
You got jokes. There's no way that's your pick.
No. It's the Knicks versus the Hawks. This is the team I didn't want to see in the first round. I wanted us to have like a little easy, first round, but I'm excited for it. That means everybody's going to be watching. Everybody's going to be tuned in. I know all the haters are tuned in, want to see if they could, shock the Knicks and give us a first round exit, which would cause a catastrophic collapse across a whole organization if that were to happen. But they are capable. I'll say that. If you just go by what has happened already, the Hawks have beat the Knicks during the season, have had problems with defenders like, our guy, the Great Barrier Thief, playing against Jalen Brunson and Dyson Daniels. And then you've had issues. I think Jalen Johnson missed a couple games, but he just does everything. He defends, he shoots, he assists. And you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker looking like the most improved player. You got CJ McCollum, who you can't sleep on either. He can go nuclear at any game, any given night. And so with that said, they got Jonathan Kuminga, who has something to prove, chip on the shoulder coming off the bench. And they have the rookie of the year last year, or at least, the number 1 pick last year, playing, coming off the bench as well. And their bigs, I keep on forgetting his name, but I know he's a good shooter, a good defender, and he causes problems for Karl-Anthony Towns. So that said, they will give some problem to the Knicks if the Knicks don't come with their A game. So hopefully the Knicks have an appropriate fear, which translates to respect. And I feel like they need to just respect this team and get them out early. If this game goes to 6, it might be a problem. I think it's going to be equivalent to what happened last year with the Pistons. And so we can't sleep in them. We have to protect home court advantage. We have to win game 1. And I think that I'm going to pick the Knicks in 6, unfortunately, just out of respect for what I've seen the Hawks do this year. I'm going to say the Knicks in 6.
Very sensible. We must protect this house. Dennis Scott, let's go to you here. Your favorite first round series.
Guys, I think all the juice is on the West. It's unfortunate the Lakers are banged up because there's no way you can win without Luka and Reese to compete with what KD's doing. But are you telling me that the Denver Nuggets played around and you wanted Minnesota and you remember, Dwight, you talked about earlier, you mess around and positioned yourself to get a T-Wolf team that could be extremely hot? Or because the Joker's that good, you should win that series? I'm not. I just don't want to play around with Ant-Man. That's, as much as I love the Joker, I just don't want to play around with Ant-Man. So I bought some extra popcorn for that first round series.
I love it.
like
Dwight Walton, your favorite first round series. Yeah, I like that a lot. Dwight Walton, you're next.
No, DZ stole my thunder. That's the series. I understand. Listen, I could talk about Knicks and the Hawks till I'm blue in the face, but I just think the most interesting first round matchup is Denver and Minnesota. A lot of weird stuff happened yesterday. San Antonio, to me, now again, you could take it one of two ways. Are the San Antonios basically telling the NBA and the basketball world, we don't care who we play? We feel we're going to, whoever's in front of us, whether we have to go through Denver and then OKC to get to the NBA Finals, we're not afraid of anybody. And if you've been listening to Victor Wembanyama for the entire season, that's the attitude he has. And I'm sure it permeates throughout not only the entire roster, but the entire organization. That being said, San Antonio could have positioned themselves to have an easier route to at the very least the Western Conference Finals. And that being said, I just think the Denver Minnesota series is the one that most intrigues me. Just imagine one of those two teams aren't getting out of the first round. That's going to be a rock'em sock'em type of series. Both teams are going to win games on the opposition's floor. It's going to go 7, I think, and may the best team win. Nikola Jokic just finished being the first player to lead the league in both rebounds and assists. And I just think analytically, if we're keeping it, as Dennis Scott's son Trey says, if we're keeping it a buck, analytically, he should be the landslide MVP winner this season. But that's not how it's going to go down. Shea's going to win it, although I think Victor Wembanyama should win it. But anytime you've got Nikola Jokic in a series, you have to favor the Nuggets in a series. But again, I think this is going to go 7, and I think Denver ultimately wins it, but it's going to be damn close. Damn close.
We fellas, I love it. So AM and I will chime in on this in a moment. On Thursday, on our show on Thursday, we're going to go into like big time predictions on these. Right now, we're just kind of having fun talking about the matchups. And we bring in the great Mike Fratello, the czar of the telestrator, Hall of Fame, the GOAT of game analysts in NBA history, named a recipient of the Naismith Hall of Fame's Kirk Gowdy Media Award, the pinnacle of success in sports media, 667 regular season wins, coach of the year, magnificent coaching career, and like I said, the GOAT of game analysts for me, over 30 years calling games, TNT, NBC, NBA TV, Yes Network. Hello, Hall of Fame. Presently announcing games for the Los Angeles Clippers. So, czar of the telestrator, my dear friend Mike Fratello, congratulations on getting the call from the Hall. How's that make you feel, man?
Very excited, Rick. It's when I got the call that morning from John D'Oliva, he was very low key about it, and he actually had called once, and I didn't recognize the number, and I was in a different, I was in a different time zone, and I looked at the phone when it rang. I looked at the clock, and I said, "No, this is too early," so I did not answer it. I closed my eyes, and I said, "Wait a minute, maybe it's important." So I went back and I called the number back, and it was John's number, and that's when he broke the news. So I was extremely excited and very appreciative of the opportunity to receive the Kirk Gowdy Award. That's a special something,
Absolutely.
Coach,
I mean,
Coach, congratulations. Well, I wanted to jump in and go in first because I know for a fact of all of us on this show, I've known you the longest. And I remember as a hard-head 18-year-old kid coming to Georgia Tech when you were around the Hawks. And Brian Hill, ironically, was one of your assistant coaches who I ended up playing for in Orlando. So I've always been a true feeling of the basketball gods, relationships, being genuine. So I don't have a question. I just want everyone who's watching this show and listening that you're one of the realest basketball lifers I ever been around. So I want to make sure I say it nationally because every time we see each other personally, we always hug each other. But I want everyone to hear it, see it. You're one of the realest ever, and you're a godfather in my opinion. That's a statement. You can respond how you want to.
Well, look, I've loved you for so many years and appreciated you, and that stroke was about as pure as you could ask when it came out of your hands, and the fact that you gave Brian so much when he was coaching. Brian is my son's godfather, so the fact that he was one of my assistants, was my son's godfather. When he got the job in Orlando, I was one of his biggest fans and rooting for him like crazy. And every time you let it fly, I was hoping that damn thing went in, except when it was against us. Okay, then you're on your own. But you know, Dennis, we've got a lot of history between us. A lot of nights in Atlanta, Georgia, in the studio there for NBA TV for TNT. So I appreciate you, and I'm honored to be a friend of yours.
This is like warm in my heart more than I can tell you guys. Obviously, Mike, dear friend, DZ, dear friend. I love you both, and to hear you guys have that conversation made at least my month. Okay, so Coach, I want to introduce you to the group. If we could go wide here, guys, because I want to introduce you, Coach, to let's go to our LA studio down here, which you would love. It's absolutely fantastic. It's elite, top level. To the right, it's Dr. Phil McDonald, Coach. He's a sports medicine radiologist, entrepreneur, philanthropist. He created this network. And a hell of a guy, gigantic Knicks fan. And he is flanked by A.M. Pfeffer, who also is out in L.A., businessman, author, anchor, sports analyst. He's kind of our business expert over here, and he's very, very, very good at it. And then upper right-hand corner, we have a Canadian basketball legend, Mike Fratello. His name is Dwight Walton. I'm sure you're familiar with his work. Coaches know every coach and every player that's ever coached or played. Anyway, so he was played in the Seoul. He played in the Seoul Olympics back in 1988 with the Canadian national team, and a long-time overseas career, and he's got a huge basketball and really sports brain. So this is the crew. Guys, this is Mike. Mike, this is the guys. So, Coach, I'm going to ask one more question for you, and then I'm going to go to Dr. X. I want to ask you about Doc Rivers. Okay, so many people say a lot of stuff about Doc, Coach, and I'm a huge supporter. I focus on the positives, not the negatives, but a lot of people focus on the negatives and not the positives. So there was a mutual parting of ways with him and the Bucks. It's a long-time coach, and as Dennis said, a godfather of this game. How does that parting of ways and sort of Doc's career, his body of work, how do you evaluate that?
Doc has accomplished so much throughout his career. I'll go back to draft day. I was with the Atlanta Hawks, and it was our first draft, and we had the board set up in the room, and this one name kept on dropping down. It was Doc Rivers, Doc Rivers, Doc Rivers. Finally, we're in the beginning of the second round, and I'm looking at my assistants and our general manager, Stan Kasten, and I said, we've got to take a shot at Doc Rivers. I mean, he's a big guard, 6'4", coming out of Marquette. Let's pick Doc Rivers. So I think it was pick 30 or 31 at that time, right in the beginning of the second round. And we dialed Doc's number, and Doc answers the phone. I go, Doc, Mike Fratello from Atlanta. He starts out with, those guys lied to me. They told me they were taking me in the top 10 picks, and I left Marquette, and they told me, and he was ranting and raving. And I said, whoa, Doc, we took you. We love you. I said, just come to Atlanta and show them what they missed. And Doc Rivers did. He led that team to all those victories. He made the All-Star team. He had a great NBA career, played for a number of terrific coaches in his stops along the way after he got rid of the guy in Atlanta, and then went on to his own 24-year coaching career. So, I mean, there's not much more Doc could do. Now he's going to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame this coming August. So the time right now was the right time for him to step away from Milwaukee. I don't know what his next phase is going to be in Doc's basketball world, but he's accomplished so much already in it. And things got chaotic this year. As you guys know, the NBA is a long season. And if you're not winning games, if you're not in the hunt because of the competitiveness, it's not fun. It's no fun losing every night, going home and trying to figure it out and come back and lose the next day. You want to win. The competitive spirits, the juices are flowing so that you can go out there and pull an upset, have a chance, make the playoffs, make a run at it. And that wasn't happening this year in Milwaukee, besides dealing with the other issues that went along with having that job this year. So I think Doc probably sat down with the front office people, ownership, and said, I understand. It's time for me to move on. And he made the choice to move on.
Phenomenal storytelling right there, Coach. Dr. X, you are next with the great Mike Fratello.
About this legendary story about you finding your team when you were in Atlanta because they were fanboys of Larry Bird, as I think he was dropping 60 on you guys, and you find them. So I just want to know, what was the story behind that? Who was on that team? What was the locker room like? How were the players when they heard that you were finding them for being fans of an opposing player giving you guys the business?
Well, I didn't do everything right when I was a young coach. Sometimes it's a little trial and error, but I knew one thing. I knew that if we wanted to be good, we were turning the team over. And what had happened was our owner, Ted Turner, when I came in his office before the season started over the summer, Ted said, Coach, you told me that we're going to be bad next year. And I said, no, I didn't say that, Mr. Turner. I didn't say we're going to be bad next year. I just said, if we're going to rebuild and bring young guys in here, you're not going to have the same veteran group that we had this past season. But we all agreed that the veteran group had plateaued off, and let's try and turn this thing around. We have a young superstar in Dominique Wilkins. Let's try and ride Dominique and bring some other young, exciting pieces in around him and go from there. So he said, well, okay, I understand, but I have an opportunity to make $100,000 a game if I take 12 of our home games and bring them to New Orleans. So I looked at him and I said, you mean instead of us having 41 home games and 41 away games, we're going to have 53 away games and 29 home games in Atlanta? And he said, yeah. He said, if we're going to be bad, we might as well be bad on the road. And then the people won't be really upset with us. And I'm saying, like, oh, man. So we went through a season of, we would go off on a 5-6 game road trip. We would come home to play 2 games in New Orleans. That was us coming home. So all of a sudden, you're playing 7 in a row on the road, not coming back to Atlanta. So that happened to be one of the games where we were playing in New Orleans. That was one of the games. And understand this, TBS, okay, America's team, the Braves, the Hawks, they were trying to get TBS up on its feet, trying to keep it running. And Ted was doing everything he could to have enough money that he could keep the thing on the air. Remember, everybody would turn on UHF back then. That's why so many people were fans of the Hawks and of the Braves. You could go to UHF and watch it. So Ted figures I can make $1.2 million if we play 12 games in New Orleans. So we go down there and we play 12 games the one night. About a week before the game against Boston, Kevin McHale had broken the Boston scoring record. And Bird was just feeding him left and right, getting the ball to McHale, and he's knocking down buckets. So now it's about a week, 10 days later, and Bird's turn. Bird was on fire. They're feeding him every chance they get. He made one shot where he fell into our bench, landed on Joe O'Toole, our trainer, and the ball went in the basket from out of bounds. But what happened is the last 4 guys down the end of the bench, they're all laughing, hooting, hollering, they're slapping 5. And I'm trying to build a program with respect, a program with understanding how to win, how you have to. This is a serious game. And guys like Cliff Levingston and Antoine Carr and John Battle and those last 3 or 4 guys down the end of the bench, I just went down and I said, that just costs each of you $1,000. Well, let me tell you a little a little follow up to the story. That night after Bird breaks the record, and we're going back to the hotel, we'd always stop at this little place. My assistant coaches get a little something to eat, and we'd walk back in carrying our bags. I'm down in the dumps. I'm dejected. Boston put a beating on us. Bird was incredible. The doorman at the hotel, an old timer, he said, Coach, he said, I was betting on you guys tonight. I said, I thought I told you don't bet and waste your hard-earned money. You work too hard. Don't be betting on it. He said, no, but Coach, you don't understand. He said, I saw Larry Bird coming in this hotel last night. And I said, man, there's no way he's playing tomorrow night. He said, I'm taking the Hawks. He said, I'm taking the Hawks. So he said, so I took you guys. He said, and Bird broke the record. I said, I told you, don't bet on basketball games, okay?
Oh, my gosh.
It was
That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you. Incredible.
What
Thank
a
you.
story, man. What a story. Coach, you're the best. All right, Dwight Walton, go ahead.
Coach, thank you for gracing us with your presence. We greatly appreciate it. I'm going to bring up a name that that sort of connects us, the Adubato family, Richie Adubato. I know you're have a great connection with him. I played for his son Scott when he was the coach in Oklahoma City in the CBA. So I just wanted you to have you speak about your relationship with Richie, with the Adubato family overall, and what kind of impact that family has had on your career.
Richie Adubato is one of my closest friends. We just had a celebration of his life a couple months back after he passed 8 months ago. And Richie's a Jersey guy, North Jersey, was a hugely successful high school coach at Our Lady of the Valley. Brian Hill played at Our Lady of the Valley, played high school basketball there. Richie Adubato was the head coach at Our Lady of the Valley. Brian didn't play for Richie. He was just 1 year removed from playing for Richie. But Richie and I worked so many basketball camps together. We did so many things in basketball. When Hubie Brown got the job in New York with the Knicks, Hubie said to me, you go ahead and pick the other coach. He said, he's going to work for you. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you're in charge of the next assistant. He said, you're going to give him his scouting assignments. You're going to tell him where to go. You're going to tell him the preparation. In practice, you're going to tell him what to do. So you decided. So I said, I went through a couple names, and I said, what about Richie Adubato? And Hubie and I talked about it. Hubie said, if you like him, you think he can do the job, hire him. Called Richie up the next morning, and he became the assistant. It was myself, Richie with the two assistants, to Hubie in New York with the Knicks that year. We go so far back in so many things. So to make extra money, because the high school coaching thing wasn't going to bring in enough money. So Richie would hustle on other things. He was a bartender at night at a place called Tierney's in Upper Montclair, New Jersey. During the summertime, we hustled and did basketball camps. And one night we're out at the diner, and he said, hey, listen, Mike, would you help me on Monday run Dick Vitale's basketball camp? And I said, well, yeah, what is it? What's it about? Where is it? Overnight camp? No, it's a day camp. Dick's going to run the day camp. Dick asked me if I'd run it for him. I'm asking you, will you come and help me run this camp, be part of it for the week? So I said, yeah. I never bothered to ask, are we going to make anything or how much are we making? So we run the camp for the week on Friday. Every day, Dick Vitale would give us lunch. He'd give us a ham sandwich, and it was the same ham sandwich every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I said, Dick must have gone out, bought a ham and sliced the pieces, made the sandwiches ahead of time, put them in the refrigerator. At lunchtime each day, he gave Richie one, he gave me one. At the end of the week, he gave us our envelope. The envelope had $35 in it. That means we made $7 a day running the basketball camp. But we got a ham sandwich to go along with it. Now, can't get that very much. Well, people just don't give you $35 a week and a ham sandwich every day.
Oh my
So,
god!
Did you
so
get any
That's
potato
hilarious.
chips, Coach? Any
Hope
potato
the
chips
ham
with
sandwich
the
wasn't
or a
dry.
pickle with the ham sandwich? Just the ham sandwich.
Some
we're
mayonnaise,
lucky we
some
got
mustard.
lucky we got a napkin to wipe our mouth at the end. Okay, but to this day, whenever we see Dick Vitale, I always remind Dick about the $35 and the ham sandwich, and he's done such an incredible job raising money for the Jimmy V Foundation for pediatric
Absolutely.
cancer. And I
Absolutely.
try to go down every year to his event that he has down in Sarasota, and I'll always bring it up to him. Dick, I got to thank you for that $35 envelope and the ham sandwich every day.
Oh, shots fired. All right, AM Pfeffer, have a little combo with the great Mike Fratello.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to follow any of that up. That's too good, Mr. Fratello. It is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and congratulations to you on your induction into the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
So, it's so amazing you were mentioning UHF. Paint the picture here for a second. I'm born in 78. I'm a kid out of the New York area who was falling in love with the NBA right at the time you were coaching. And one of the teams, even before my New York Knickerbockers, obviously a couple of years later, before they really brought everybody in to get it, I could get excited about, was the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, really, it was Dominique, it was Spud. And your time there, 86, 87 specifically, I think when you won 57 games and your perm was rocking and it looked great. I mean, this is who I'm watching and with the team. But really what I want to hear, what I want you to tell me a little bit, that team in particular, especially because of how young everybody was. That was what was so amazing to me. Like, I think, Willis was only a couple years in, Doc was only a couple years in, right? Like, besides like Trey Williams and Gus Johnson, I think were your veterans on the team. Everybody else was so young, like 4 years younger. Wilkins too. Like, what was it managing these guys in that youth, getting them all the way up to those wins, and as far as you took them in the playoffs?
There were times that we actually would say, shoot the ball, okay, and we knew it wasn't going to go in, but we knew that if they at least got up on the rim and backboard, we had a chance to go get it and take a second shot closer to the rim. I just didn't want them to turn it over where we got no shots at all. So I may have let them get away with a few more shots that I wouldn't have a few years later down the road. But it was such an incredible group. I can remember Stan Kasten, who was our general manager, and Stan is now president of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's put that unbelievable team together and had total responsibility for getting that team sold twice now. But Stan came to me right before the season, and I had finished my first 2 years. The third year was an option year. They picked up the option for me to come back and coach the team the third year. And Stan said, Mike, why don't you let me have add some veteran guys to this team. He said, we like you. We like what you do coaching wise, but you got so many rookies here in training camp. And at the end of training camp, I went to Stan. I said, Stan, I'm going to open the season with 5 rookies on the roster. He said, Mike, no team with 4 rookies on the roster has ever made the playoffs. I said, that's okay. We're going to open with 5. And we started out that season with 5 rookies on the roster. About 2 or 3 weeks into the season, we had Johnny Davis and we had Eddie Johnson. They were 2 veteran guys that were out there and around. I think it was Eddie Johnson came back to us. It was either Johnny or Eddie came back, and I got rid of one of the rookies. But that group went on to win 50 games that year. We made the playoffs, and it was such an exciting, fun group. I mean, they played so hard. We played fast. They got out in the open floor. I had the first unit. Those were the locomotive guys. That was Doc at the point, Tree Rollins at the center position, Randy Whitman at the 2 guard spot, Dominique at the small forward, Kevin Willis at the power forward. And then you come in with the other guys, the Cliff Livingston's, the Antoine Carrs, the Spud Webbs, John Battles, John Concack. And those guys, we just let them get out and run. It was just an amazing group. And we improved on it each year. We brought a piece or 2 in each year after that. So they wound up going 50, 57, 52, and 50 for that 4-year stretch. And
wow,
God, it was just fun. I loved going to practice every day. they had a great spirit about them. They had a great competitiveness about them. And they had Dominique, who was, the leader of that group on the court. Dominique would have played 365 games a year if you would have let him. He loved playing the game.
Mhm.
So to that note, let's do a little storytelling about Dominique Wilkins here, Mike Fratello. Wherever you want to take it, but what I would at least like a little bit of is some kind of story that lets, maybe not us because we like watch Nick and we know, but some of our audience members who may not really understand the athletic freakazoid that Dominique Wilkins perhaps still is. But yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Nick was not a massive, bulky kind of guy, but when Nick dunked, it was a power dunk. He was so strong and elevated so high, and he went after. It was like he wanted to tear down the rim on each one of those dunks when he came flying in there. And I guess when you're up 47, 48 inches in the air, I've never been to that rarefied air, but Nick played in that atmosphere, the whole time. And to do some of the things that he did, but what really was impressive was the contact that they would allow the defenses to have against Nick. They would try to knock him to the floor. They would try to knock him down and almost dare him to get up again and challenge him once again. And I can tell you a story about, we were in Atlanta and we're playing Milwaukee, and we were down 9 with about 13 seconds to go in the game. It's not like we're going to make this miraculous comeback, but Nick gets the ball in the corner, drives to the basket, and when he drives to the basket, they level him. I mean, level him as he's going to dunk the ball, and no foul is called. Now,
Wow.
we all remember there were late night flights out of Atlanta. So those referees may have been trying to catch one of those late night flights out of Atlanta. But they never blew the whistle. I got off the bench. I walked out into the middle of the court, and I stood in the center circle. Only 2 officials that time, not 3 officials. The first official had already gone down past me. So his back was to the ball that was coming up the floor. And if I remember, it was Paul Pressey was dribbling the ball up the court. And as Pressey's coming towards half court, he's dribbling with his right hand, and with his left hand, Pressey's pointing to the other official going, he's on the court. He's in the middle of the floor. And the official didn't really get what had happened, that I had walked out in the middle of the court and stood in the circle. And I said, you have to blow the whistle when they hit him the way they just hit him. How could you not make that call? Well, they threw me out of the game. The next morning, I received a call from Commissioner Stern, and our commissioner said to me, if you ever do that again, I will fine you more money than you make in your contract.
Wow.
And I said, Mr. Commissioner, I understand, and I'm sorry. However, if they hurt Dominique Wilkins, we won't have 2 people in the stands anymore at a game. I said, that's our franchise. That's our franchise. That's the guy that's going to carry this team. And we're going to keep progressing up the ladder. We're going to get better and better. But he's got to be around. And you've got to protect those players are special to this league. And the officials have to understand, you're not letting one get away because you want the game to end. You've got to protect those superstar players so the league can grow and exist, and the fans have somebody to come and watch and cheer for. And we got done with our conversation. I promised I wouldn't do it again. And that was that.
And stars
That's
have been
amazing.
stars.
That's amazing. They do need to be protected. All right, last question for me. I know Dennis has another one, Coach. We got to talk Clippers and Warriors, right? And I believe we're still, in the middle of breaking that down with us. We're making a prediction on the game. But obviously a Clippers broadcaster for several years now. So this is a bit twofold, Coach. obviously the turnaround from the horrible start, Ty Lue saying, we're going to have this record, and so you can go into all that and like what Ty Lue did and how amazing this coaching job was, and then are the Clippers going to beat the Warriors coming up on Wednesday night?
Ty Lue has done just an incredible job. When the game ended last night, I shot a message to him and I just said 6-21 to 42 and 40 is quite an accomplishment. And he's got a great feel for the game. His pulse is on the game. He's got a great feel for with flying on a plane and when we're in a hotel together and we're talking, I'll say to him, I would have gone with so-and-so about 2 minutes and he would have been out of the game. Meanwhile, Ty leaves him on the court for like 8 minutes straight, and the guy winds up going for 12 points all of a sudden in the 8 straight minutes because Ty had a feel that he was going to get something done. And that's where I think he's really, really good at his feel for the players, the feel for the team, and to turn it around that way. There was an incredible display of professionalism and respect between Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy. Ty, who always prided himself in his defensive game plans, and when they got to the playoffs, the schemes that they would use, et cetera, Ty was great with Jeff Van Gundy this year, and he gave Jeff so much responsibility in working with the team at the defensive end of the floor. And if it were not for that happening, with Ty understanding, Ty kind of turning over that part of it to Jeff doing the job that he did, this team to win 42 games with the players who were missing, eventually the trade of Ivica Zubac, eventually the trade James Harden. James was having an incredible year with the Clippers and came to Cleveland. And he's making his impact felt here in Cleveland with the Cavs. But I think the Clippers right now, if you're going to play one game against Golden State, you'd rather have it in LA than have to go to San Francisco to play that game.
Right.
Last night, Draymond Green did not play in the game. Steph played in the game last night, I think 24 minutes, had 22 or 24 points, whatever it is. He's always going to score. But it'll be interesting tomorrow. And will Kawhi play in the game? I'm hoping Kawhi plays in the game, but he did not play in last night's game. So you get one chance. You get one chance. By not finishing 7 or 8, you don't have 2 times that you have a chance to win. You have to win each night out. You have to win 2 times now because you're finishing that 9-10 spot to get into the playoffs. And I'm hoping that home court is good to them. I hope those fans pack into it, Dome, and the team comes out and plays with high energy because that's what they need.
I love it. Anybody else got a question for Coach?
Yes, I do, Coach. I want to swing back to the Eastern Conference and talk about the Atlanta Hawks against the Knicks and their first round series. I know there's 450 players in the NBA every season, but there's a poll was put out there, I'm not sure when, of 150 players. And they were asked, not their own team, but who do they feel is going to win the NBA championship? Of course, the Thunder's team was mentioned. The San Antonio Spurs were mentioned. The Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, the LA Lakers were given a mention. The Atlanta Hawks were even given a mention. The one team, and of course, I don't think they mentioned the Rockets nor the Timberwolves, but the one glaring omission for me was the New York Knicks. Why aren't the Knicks respected across the NBA? Is there something that the players around the league feel that the Knicks lack? Is it toughness? Are they concerned about them defensively in a playoff series? Like, can you please speak to that, Coach?
Well, let me ask you this. Was Spike Lee polled on that?
Or Dr. X? They didn't pull Dr. X on it either.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. But the thing is though, yes, my cousin and I, we go back and forth on this platform, and of course off air as well, in regards to the New York Knicks. And I know I bust his chops a lot, but I firmly believe, other than the Boston Celtics, the Knicks should be the favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference. But why is there this feeling or lack of respect? And again, JJ Redick said it a couple of weeks ago. When the Lakers lose, it's a little bit louder than other franchises. That goes for the Knicks as well. So is it that why there may be that lack of respect? Why aren't the Knicks given their proper respects, as far as I'm concerned, across the NBA?
I think the word trust comes into play here because uh, teams that fans or the people that are in the know, when you have a group of guys playing that you trust, you know that tonight you can count on the guy to do his job. Um, it makes it easy for you to pick them to go with them. I don't think there's total trust in every one of the players with the Knicks. I think some of the players are looked at. Tonight he might be on and give us a good night, but the next two games after that he may disappear. And they've got some tough-minded guys on that team, and they've got some guys who have played big games throughout their career at a lot of different levels. But when you put them all together, okay, when it comes time for guys to step up in the playoffs, do you trust every one of them to be there, to not get in early foul trouble? If you don't get in early foul trouble, then he stands a chance maybe of a guy coming up with 12 to 14 rebounds a night, coming up with 25 to 30 points a night, coming up with 2 to 3 block shots a night. But when they get in early foul trouble or you commit silly fouls, now you're not on the floor and you can't do that for your team. You can't help them out. And that mistrust comes back once again. So I think the Knicks are a really good team. They had, look, Thibodeau went through a lot of wars with those guys, a lot of battles. Now Mike Brown comes in, does a terrific job with them taking over that team after Thibs. But can they maintain that level, the mental toughness that they had, and can they perform on the court and give it to them each one of those playoff games? Are you going to be able to look at your teammates sitting there and say, we need you tonight to step up. We need you tonight to show up. You can't disappear on us. You're too important to us.
So, okay, so ultimately my question to you is, uh, are the Knicks in trouble in this first round series against the Atlanta Hawks?
I like the Hawks a lot, but I don't like them enough to say that they're going to beat New York. I think New York
Right.
is going to look. They added some veteran pieces, Atlanta, which is a great move on their part. I thought they had all those young guys running around, and you see them one night and you go, "Oh my God, they're talented." Then you see them two nights later and you go, "Is that the same group?" They were like a car with no direction on it. Okay. Um, now by bringing in a couple of these veteran guys that they added to the team, it's a different squad. These veterans have probably calmed them down a little bit, made them understand. Look, let me explain to you. If you want to go on further in the playoffs, you want to be talked about in a positive manner. Like not only athletically good, but they have the cerebral part of it down also. This is what you have to do. You have to take this game a little more serious. These are certain things you might have to do. So when you pick up those veteran guys who have been around and played a lot of games, played a lot of playoff games, it helps that young group. But I don't know if they're ready to beat the Knicks because I think New York has been battle tested, and I think New York's going to win that series.
DC, go ahead, man.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Dennis.
Wait a minute. Where am I?
No, you're good. You're good now.
You're good
Okay.
now.
All right. I walked away and I got a phone call, and before I share the surprise, basketball has changed so much, and I'm curious where your take is if you were in the situation and you got the same phone call that Michael Malone got to say you could be the head coach at North Carolina University. I just got a phone call because I'm living in real time as a dad, so I've shared some earlier information. Now Georgetown University is interested in my son Trey, who you remember were in
Let's
the
go.
Nice.
studio, shooting shots in the studio. Now he's 6'11", shooting it like me. So it's a loaded question. Basketball has changed. Guys are getting paid in college. What is your thought on, guys getting paid? Now a well-known NBA championship coach. Luke Lautz was a developmental coach for Sacramento and with the Warriors. He's at Florida State. Do you see more NBA coaches saying, hey, I can still make $6 or $7 million being a coach, but now I can go down to what I call the new minor league basketball, which is college basketball, because you're getting paid to go to class, stay eligible, but at the end of the day, you have to play good basketball to put butts in the seats. So I gave you a loaded question, a loaded thought. Take it from there, coach.
I'm here to be the first.
I think the personality and the character of the individual that is looking at that job has to be very special. For Michael Malone to take that North Carolina job, knowing Michael Malone, I would hope that he had called X number of people that he feels are comrades of his and have been involved, like Billy Donovan, for example. Billy, what was it like at Florida? What was it like winning the championships? What's it like in the NBA right now? Guys like that could give Michael the solid advice. Financially, you're going to wind up being okay, but I hope Michael understands that this is a new world with paying the players, with transfer portal. A coach that I will not name right now who came in and did a really good job this year, and his team won more than 20 games. I heard that he had 9 of his players in the transfer portal. 9.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if that's true, think about it. Why did the head football coach of Alabama, the head basketball coach at North Carolina, the head basketball coach at Villanova, why did they all step down like within 12, 14 months of each other? Why did that happen? Because they were starting to taste and see what was going on and what college basketball was turning into. And now you have, I forgot the name that they appoint them, the governor or whatever. It's the guy who handles the money for each of the programs. So he appropriates this much money can go to football, this much money can go to basketball, this much money can go to track and field. And you've got a guy who is doing all that, and it's not even the head coach. The head coach doesn't have time to be passing out the envelopes. So you've got to have a system in place. You've got to be able to replenish when those who leave, when they're unhappy, when you tell them you love them, okay, the 2 years you're recruiting them, then they come to your place and you don't play them, and then they put their name in the transfer portal. You got to tell them you love them again, or you're going to lose them. It's such a hard thing out there now. So I hope Michael's ready for it. He may have had his time in the NBA. He may have been in it long enough where he said, I'm going to try college. And maybe because it's Michael Malone and he's won a championship and he's as good a coach as he is, maybe if he gets tired of college basketball, he's young enough to still go back and get an NBA job at some point.
Hey, coach,
Yeah, maybe
I
it's an
just want to add on to
experiment.
that.
Maybe it's an experiment.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Coach, I've spoken to several coaches. You spoke about Nick Saban, coach right at Villanova, several coach Jim Larinaga at the University of Miami. I've spoken to several coaches. The reason why they got out of the game is because you speak about how you tell a player when you're recruiting them how much you love them, how much you want them to be about the program. You're trying to recruit their parents and their family as well. The issue with NIL now is that you in essence have to re-recruit your own players because money is now on the table. If some other school or an agency, whatever happens, offers more money, then they go back to the original coach and say, well, coach, such and such a school is offering me this kind of money. Can you match it? The issue was the re-recruitment of their own player and the uncertainty of the program going forward. Can you speak to that?
You're 100% correct, because one of those names that you mentioned a few seconds ago, the day after they got knocked out of the NCAA tournament, I spoke to them and they said to me, "What do you think I'm doing right now?" I said, "Maybe you're planning on getting away for a few days to kind of clear your mind, that type of thing." And they said, "No, I have to go and tell each one of my guys that I love them again because of the transfer portal, or else they might be leaving. And we have that space or that gap in our roster if a couple of them wind up leaving. So not only did I have to recruit them for 2 or 3 years out of high school to get them to come here, but now I have to go back in and tell them again after the season just ended, after we just got knocked out, that I still love them and I want them to stay." And it got to be discouraging. And I remember Coach Saban, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this, I remember hearing him say, when they asked him why he stepped away from it, he said, "Because I'm not in control of my team anymore."
Wow.
He said, "I always was, no matter where I was in control of my team. I'm not in control of my team anymore now, with transfer portal, with NIL money, with all that. Time for me to step away." And I respect him as much as I respect anybody. I think he's just a brilliant coach.
Yeah.
And he's turned into a really good broadcaster too. I didn't know Uncle Nick had had a good broadcaster in him, right? I always loved the podium pops. Remember when he'd get all salty with reporters and he'd start like not banging on the podium, but he would just pop the podium. The podium popper, Nick Saban, is everything. Coach, one more for you, and we'll let you go. I want to go back in the day one more time. Tell us a story about Mark Price. Do you consider him underrated in the greater scheme of NBA ball players in NBA history?
Probably. He was just a great guard, and fast, speed, quickness with the ball in his hand as he was pushing it down the floor. Until Rick Mahorn laid that big ass body of his on him in the backcourt and knocked him down. Okay, and damn near ended his career. Mark was as fast as you're gonna find with the ball in his hand, and then just an incredible shooter. I can remember playing. We played Jimmy Lynam. I guess Jimmy was coaching either Philly or Washington at one point. Maybe it was Washington, and we're playing that team. And I must have called the same play for Mark Price 7 or 8 straight times down the floor, because no matter what they tried, they couldn't stop him. And he made every shot coming off. And like Jimmy, Jimmy and I are good friends. And he looked down at me and I just said, "It's coming again on the next play. It's coming again." because that's how good Mark was. You give him a little bit of look at the basket and push it down, run the break, make a good decision. His father was a coach. He had that basketball in his blood, and I was blessed to be able to coach him. Unfortunately, that first year that I came to Cleveland, when I inherited that team that Lenny Wilkins had done such an incredible job with, and the shot by Michael, over the top of Elo that season before, when Lenny had moved on, and Wayne Embry offered me the job. Little did I know that in that first year, Brad Daugherty was going to blow out 2 discs in his back and retire from basketball after about 50 games. Larry Nance was going to have 2 surgeries, one in training camp to start the season and one at the end of the regular season, and retire from basketball. And then the first day of practice, getting ready for the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs, Hot Rod Williams breaks his thumb. So we lost Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance, and Hot Rod Williams to 2 injuries heading into the first playoff series. And then the reason I told the story, to start the next year, Mark Price broke his wrist and Gerald Wilkins tore his Achilles tendon. And 5 of those guys all were injured, and the injuries knocked him out. I mean, these were big time injuries, not small injuries. Big time injuries.
You know what,
Hey,
Coach? If I
Rick,
can,
hey, Rick,
if I,
Rick, let me just
what's-
real quick, just one thing.
Yeah.
When that happened, we're playing the Chicago Bulls, and they had a couple guys who you may know their names, but they weren't bad. Anyhow, we go into the series, and back then it was like a 3-game series, if I remember, it's like 2 out of 3 or 5-game series, 3 out of 5, whatever it was. So we lose Brad, we lose Hot Rod, we lose Larry Nance. So Wayne Embry comes to me and he said, "Mike, what do you think? We got to get a big body." I said, "Yeah, we need some help, big man." He said, "I'm going to go look for a big guy, try and find somebody." So he's looking all over the place. He's looking for guys who are coming back from Europe because they could play. They were allowed to play in the playoffs, so they had been in Europe all year. Calls me that night and he says, "What about Tim Kempton?" Remember Tim Kempton playing at Notre Dame? Big
That's
red,
right.
red-haired,
Big boy.
big barrel-chested
That's it.
guy,
Big
6'10".
Big Timmy.
So I said, give me his phone number. Let me talk to him. So I call him up. I said, "Tim, can you give us like 6 or 8 minutes a night? 3 or 4 in the first half, 3 or 4 in the second half." He said, "I've been back coach about 3 or 4 weeks. I had a couple beers here and there, but I think I can give you that." So I said, "All right, we're going to sign him." So I told Wayne, I said, "Big man, let's sign Kempton." So we bring Kempton in. He has like 1 day of practice with us. We go play Chicago. We're on the bench in the first game at Chicago. It's down to the last 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. And I had Kempton in the game, and we're in a 2-point game against the Bulls. There's like 2.5 minutes left. And my assistant was Ronnie Rustine. And Ronnie's hitting me with an elbow. And I go, "Ronnie, what the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Look at Kempton. Look at him." I looked at Kempton. I said, "What about him?" He said, "He looks like a fire engine. He's going to have a heart attack on the floor." And I looked up at the clock and I said, "We only got 2 minutes to go, Ronnie. Let's ride it out."
Oh gosh, sheesh.
Tim Kempton, to this day, whenever I see him, he said, "You tried to kill me, coach, in that game." He said, I said, "No, Timmy, you were so good. We had a chance to win. I wanted to keep you in there. That was it."
Oh my gosh, that's good.
Currently the radio game analyst for the Phoenix Suns, Tim
Phoenix
Kempton. I've
Suns.
interviewed him on
Yeah.
Sirius XM NBA radio.
Yeah, that's our guy.
My coach, I just love you, man. Just want to tell you that. Super, super, super thrilled for you to be going into the Hall of Fame. And I hope a lot of your buddies go up there with you and just make a huge deal out of it. The Kirk Gowdy Award, man. I mean, it does not get any higher than
Big
that.
time. Big time.
Coach, good luck to your Clippers. I will certainly be in touch. We'd love to talk with you down the line. And your storytelling was absolutely elite. And we just appreciate you, Coach. We really do. Nothing but love from all of us over here at X-Rated Sports Network.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Coach.
all of you. Love all you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
3D downtown.
Love you, man.
Leave it.
Oh man, what a send off right there!
Ah,
What a great way to leave it.
oh man, that's
Are you kidding me right now?
That's
I-
crazy.
Easy.
Hey,
That was
listen
great.
to me. You've been knowing me the longest. Doc's been knowing me pretty good. D-Dub and Am's getting to know me well. I couldn't have picked a better day to reconnect with you guys and get back
There
with the
you go.
show. Knowing my schedule's been crazy and Doc now all the tech. I'm just a happy dude right now. I'm just a happy
Yeah.
dude right now that the day is a great day. And you seen me get up and pick up the phone. You see, it's like the draft all over. That was Georgetown just
Yeah.
called. I can't make this shit up.
That's so cool. That is so
I can't
cool.
make it up.
No, you got to pick that up for sure.
Yeah, when I looked up, I said, I'll be back. Hell, yes. Oh, we like Trey. Can we learn more? We want you to come and see campus. Yes, Trey's right in there. Yes, Georgetown. Yes. This is not George Washington. This is Georgetown.
Georgetown.
Ah,
And it's not George Mason. It's Georgetown. All right? Georgetown. Or the country of Georgia, which nobody knows where the heck it is. All right, I gotta follow. Shout out to Zaza Pachulia.
That's right.
I gotta go to Doc here real quick. Okay, like I said it and I believe it. Okay, you can have a different GOAT of game analysts. All of you guys, you can say it's Doug Collins or, whoever. For me, it's Mike Fratello. So I asked, I forget who asked about, I think Dwight asked him about the Knicks. And okay, you heard him talk about the inconsistencies. You've got to show up, right? He was talking about Karl-Anthony Towns.
Oh, he was. He gave his whole stat line.
And he never said his name. He never said his name one time, but we all kind of knew who he was talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
You could see.
Go ahead, Gus. Say
right on
something.
the tip of his
Come on,
lips.
Gus.
I have nothing to say. I said what it is. We're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You never know which team will show up. I think the Knicks are better built for a playoff series because they can really adjust and lock in and make sure the inconsistencies are mitigated. But on a one-off, any given night type of thing, you just never know what you're going to get. But I think in the series, we can lock in. But the unfortunate thing is that Mikal Bridges doesn't show up sometimes, as well as OG Anunoby. Talk about offensively, and they bench. You just never know. We don't have a strong enough bench team. I mean, look at the Hornets having Kobe White come off the bench. He looks like he's ready every night to give you the business. So I love. We need that type of player coming off our bench, and we need a consistent number two, like someone you know is going to be there in the box score every night.
So, Doc, I'm going to keep you going here. We are in the middle of our predictions for the play-in tournament. We are still on Golden State and the Los Angeles Clippers. Sure, who you got in that one, Doc? No, my bad.
I think I already said my
We
pick.
are on.
It's AM. You and AM have to give your picks.
Wait a minute. Why am I tripping right now?
Yeah,
well, because we had the
Clippers.
interview and stuff
We're
like
on
that.
the exciting matchup. What's our
Clippers and
favorite
Warriors.
matchup?
Clippers and Warriors.
All right,
and you
Doc, thank you.
yeah.
All right, AM, go ahead, my friend.
Well, look, guys, I'm as intrigued as you are, obviously, by the Lakers, Timberwolves. We all are. But let me just, save you the drama. It's 4-2 Denver at the end of it all. So bring it back to the East. That's my prediction.
Lakers
I'm
and
saying
Timberwolves?
that's what's happening, right? Like as exciting as that series is going to be. Look, to borrow yet another Simpsons line, gentlemen, welcome to Flavor Country. I'm bringing it back to the Knicks and the Hawks, okay? This is by far the most exciting matchup. I don't care what anybody says. It's not because Doc's sitting next to me. It's not because I'm a part-time Knicks fan. Are you kidding me? The Knicks are 20-10 in their last 30. The Hawks, they're 22-8. This team, beside Charlotte, is so far and away the best since the trade deadline. Since the rejuvenated CJ McCollum has come, and Corey Kispert, who I've spoken about ad nauseum, and Kuminga is somehow giving you 30 a night or 3 a night. I mean, who knows what you get out of him? It's kind of exciting either way. But, are you kidding me with Nickeil Alexander-Walker? Are you kidding me with Jalen Johnson, Okongwu? The list goes on and on, all right? This matchup, I was when it was Toronto, my confidence level was 96-4%. Knicks are walking out of that as winners. Now that they're playing the Hawks, I'm literally this much on the side of the Knicks. It's 52-48. That's what I'm feeling percentage-wise. This matchup has it all. This is so far and away. I mean, the meat is on the bone now. The real playoffs are here. Your aforementioned Knicks, Dwight, and talking about them, that nobody's talking about them. Well, you know who's talking about them? Vegas is still talking about them, my friend. Ball don't lie. Vegas don't lie. They're still ahead of the Pistons to make it and be part of the championship, all right? So I don't want to hear that nobody's talking about them. There's plenty of suits. There's plenty of guys who look like Rick Kamler right now in dark T-shirts and slick back hair sitting somewhere in Vegas talking about the Knicks and setting odds that they're up there. But, and we're going to get to them, Rick's favorite team, Cleveland, out of the East. I hate to say it, but they're still somehow oddly favored. Moving on.
No, hold on. AM, wait. AM, I'm not talking about Vegas, the media, or us. The poll was the players.
You're talking about the poll of the players. Yeah, I get it.
The players.
I understand.
The players around the league don't respect the Knicks for whatever reason.
It's Cat.
Yeah, it's Cat. I mean, not for whatever reason. We all know. Why are we not naming this guy? He's
the elephant in the room.
Temkin Village. He's the elephant in the room.
It's Cat.
That nobody respects. Nobody respects,
He's
and nobody respects, unfortunately, what Mikal Bridges has done since being traded for 5 first-round picks and what he's looked like the second half of this year. That's just the reality of the situation. This is where we all are. But Brunson is doing everything he possibly can, has been doing it now for weeks on end. He looks every bit the superstar we're all calling him. So, and Doc, I know you're worried about the bench, but I'm excited to see what the bench does in the playoffs. I think Mike Brown's got something up his sleeve. You're gonna see the bench come alive a little bit more, especially in this series.
So we are on favorite first round series. We have 2 picks for New York and Atlanta, Dr. X and AM. We have 2 picks for Denver and Minnesota, Dennis Scott and Dwight Walton. I am not going with either of those. Are you guys ready to have a little chuckle? Okay. My favorite series in the first round is Raptors Cavaliers. And here's why.
I wonder why.
Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors. This is my favorite first round series because I cannot wait for the apologies, the justifications, the excuses, the bailouts, the hall passes, all the maneuvering that you all do to sugarcoat another epic playoff failure by James Harden, the GOAT of playoff failure. You all get suckered in to believing, and then he does it to you every year, not every other year, like the Knicks, right? With the every other game thing. No, every year. It is as consistent as death and taxes, okay? That James Harden is gonna let you down. And I don't care if he's 1, 2, or 3, because if you're 1, 2, or 3, you're a very important guy on your team. That's where the house of cards crumbles. The Raptors are not playing the Knicks, okay? So they have a chance. I had a conversation with huge Knick fan Adam Smirnoff yesterday, our buddy. He's been on twice, guitarist and lettuce. And we talked like before all of this stuff was settled. He's like, I want Toronto so bad. We own them, and y'all didn't get Toronto, okay? Cleveland got Toronto. So this is better for our entertainment because New York would have waxed Toronto. Cleveland ain't waxing Toronto. Toronto's winning this series, guys. They have 2 All-Stars. They have a core 4, okay? They do. Barrett, Quickly, Barnes, and Ingram. That's a core 4. It's not a great core 4, but it is. They have a low-key crew. I like some of their bench players, okay? The Raptors have enough to beat the Cavaliers in 6. And I know we're going to do more prediction stuff on Thursday, but this is my favorite first-round series because we're going to see an upset. The Raptors are going to shock the world. Canada is going to be reveling in this. It's going to be, awesome for that country. And once again, we are going to see the Cavaliers fizzle, and we're going to see James Harden fizzle. Okay, one more thing here. Cleveland is a 7.5-point favorite in game 1. I might have to refund my Hard Rock bet account for this one. There's no way. Toronto is living inside the number. They may not win, but that's telling you, Cleveland's way better than Toronto. And AM always loves to bring up Vegas. Vegas is right most of the time. AM, but not all of the time. All right, and
that's how we make our money when they're not right all the time.
And it takes a slick back mob boss like your boy Cam, all gangstered up for our boy Fratello. You guys, if I knew how to rock a man perm, I would have rocked a man perm for the great Mike Fratello on the show. I just don't know how to do all that stuff. All right, I want to.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah, come on in here.
Come on. You. I do. I want to back you up about something that a lot of people don't know about Toronto. Their road record this year, 22-19. That is not something to eschew. Pay attention to that. Rick, you might be onto something with that.
Okay, so Rick, I want to add something, and I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to read it. So the Raptors this season, they're 0-20 against the Celtics, Knicks, Rockets, Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, Spurs, and Wolves. They're 19-15 against everybody else. To your point about the Raptors Cavs in the first round, the Raptors this season are 26-0 against the Hawks, the Heat, the Pacers, the Bulls, the Jazz, the Blazers, the Warriors, Grizzlies
Here it comes. Here it
and the
comes.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Here it comes.
And the
There it is.
Cleveland
Did
Cavaliers
not lose a game to them in the regular
they
season.
did not lose a game to them this season. So I spoke about coaches being under the gun. Added Kenny Atkinson to this list. Because if the Raptors beat them in this first round, after acquiring James Harden at the deadline, the Cavs may be one of those teams where you see major offseason changes if it doesn't work out this season.
All right, I want to have a little fun here. Me and Doc are excluded from this debate, okay? And so the debate is, I want Dwight Walton, A.M. Pfeffer, and Dennis, if you feel comfortable with this. Dennis, I know you've seen the group chat and you've seen what Doc has said about Detroit on the group chat. You may not have heard the shows, but I'll just say it like this, because I think this is just a decent word for it. Doc is critical of the Detroit Pistons, right? Yeah, I'll just say it like that. And there's probably other words you could put on it. Obviously, like my Cleveland thing just played out once again here, okay? So the question is, let's have fun with this. Who he hate more, Dr. X on the Pistons or my boss Rick Kamla on the Cavaliers? Dwight Walton, you first.
Oh, no, listen. This is an easy one for me. I think a lot of it now, I truly believe that my cousin has a healthy respect for the Detroit Pistons.
I'm not so sure.
But hold on. Down deep in his gut, the reason why he wants every team to beat the Pistons is because he doesn't want to face the Pistons ultimately in the playoffs. I am the first to say that the playoffs are a completely different season than the regular season. But whenever the Pistons saw the Knicks this year, they see red. They don't care about the other teams. All they want to do, they feel that they got wronged or jobbed last season against the Knicks. So their sole purpose, their sole focus, that whole offseason, throughout this season, they are looking forward. They want to play the Knicks. They don't care what round it's in. They want revenge. They want a bloodbath against the Knicks. So I know your hate for the Cleveland Cavaliers, your much discussed hate for the general manager of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. I understand your hate for all of that, but nothing trumps your hate for that more than my cousin's hate for the Pistons. He has zero respect for them. None. But again, I think there's an underbelly of concern as to why he doesn't have any respect for the Pistons. So for me, the Pistons are the clear winner in this discussion. Okay. Clear.
Yeah. I love it. A.M. Pfeffer, do you agree? Where are you at with this one, A.M.?
No, I'm getting right into this. I'm going to speak my piece on this. Let me preface it this way. All right, Rick, we all know you dislike, you detest, you hate the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I feel like your hate for the Cleveland Cavaliers, probably starts and ends on Beyond the Surface. I think after the show, you let your hair down, you get yourself one of those Dick Vitale ham sandwiches,
correct.
And you're not even thinking about the Cavaliers.
Bullseye.
Doc over here. Right, Doc, who is absolutely, the man is class, the man is gentleman. He handles his business the way he does. But I'm telling you, he's out there looking at X-rays. He literally sees. It's like, is that Duncan Robbins? To be like, he is living, eating, sleeping, breathing the hate for the Detroit Pistons. I said on the group chat that it was 50-50 Nats, 51-50. It's 99-1. Doc hates the Pistons so much freaking more than you hate the Cavaliers. It ain't even close.
Well done. DZ, come on. Do you care to opine on this one?
And it's real simple because now that I've heard what I've seen, it's hands down. There's nothing to talk about, Doc. Like, here's the point is, Doc, out of all, and we all know New Yorkers. We all know somebody that lives in New York. We all know somebody who's born and raised. If you're born and raised and you've grown up in that drinking that dirty ass water in New York, you've been drinking it so long, you can't wait for the Knicks to win. So anytime somebody's at the top of the heat, guess what? It happens to be Detroit. Yes, that's the worst, and he hates them the most.
Doc is the clear winner here. AM raise his hand up like the boxer who won the fight in the ring. It is Dr. X, baby. He
Let's
is
get him a belt.
your
Let's get him a belt.
He is your winner. Oh, that is so
I'll
good.
take it. I'll take it.
You know what?
it.
Based
I
on
will
that,
see it.
we have to have a Knicks Pistons series. I'm gonna be
100%.
I'm gonna be
Yes.
I'm gonna be dejected, depressed, disappointed if we don't get that series. We gotta see that series, man. Oh, well, I don't know if we will though. I mean, New York's gonna have to beat Boston in round 2 to make that series
They
happen.
will beat Boston. They will beat Boston. I think what you should say is that the Pistons have to beat the Cavs. That's
And
probably
how
more
about
of
the
bigger question.
Celtics have to beat the Magic because the Magic are winning that
That's
game.
going to be a tough series.
And
That's
gonna
going to be a tough series.
I'm with you, Dwight. I don't know. Boston did it. It might be a surprise. An October surprise in April.
All right, fellas, let's do one more topic here. It's kind of newsy. It's a big name, and he's kind of been off the radar a little bit. But there's been some news bubbling up about him, and I want to hit on this with you guys. Has Ja Morant played his last game in Memphis? That's the question. Here's the setup, and I'm going to actually go first on this one. During the Grizzlies' last home game, every player gave their jersey to a fan as a gesture of gratitude. Yes, even the 2-way contract guys and 10-day contract guys that nobody knows, okay, except for Ja Morant. Ja Morant was excluded. He was notified an hour before tip-off that he would not be participating in the giveaway, leaving him without a jersey to provide. Quote, he's unhappy with how he's being treated. A source close to him said he feels alienated by the organization. And our homie, Brandon Scoopy Robinson, got the scoop on that. We will be having him on the show. I don't know when, but sometime in the future, he's our guy. Here's the answer. Nope. Ja Morant has not played his last game with the Memphis Grizzlies. Womp, womp. I know we're all ready for new. We're all ready for new, right? With Ja. Goes to a new environment. Maybe he'll get his head screwed on straight. Maybe he will. I'm not going to sit here and say that humans can't improve, learn from mistakes. I certainly have, okay? Here's the point with Ja Morant, though. Nobody wants him, okay? Nobody wants to give up anything for him. That's why he's still a Grizzly right now. They tried to trade him, but they couldn't because nobody wants him, okay? And there's more to this. Nobody wants to take on the last 2 years of his max contract.
That's
$42 million and $44 million. That's toxic. Nobody's touching that, okay? Nobody wants to take on his brittle bones. Nobody wants to take on his moodiness. Nobody wants to take on his baggage, okay? The Grizzlies are stuck with Ja Morant, which makes this stunt really freaking stupid, okay? The Grizzlies need to read the room here. Nobody wants your guy, bro. Nobody, okay? It's not a 2-syllable word. It's a 3-syllable word. Nobody, okay? How many times do I have to say it? Realize that you can't trade Ja. You're stuck with him. Now make the best of it, right? And I'm not saying you got to pour all kinds of love into him because he certainly hasn't done that to you, but you got to find a middle ground with this guy. The Grizzlies are now at Bucks level for dysfunction. I want to go to Dennis Scott here. DZ, that's the setup and my answer. Has Ja Morant played his last game in Memphis?
I'm starting to lean that way, guys, because I'm not getting the juice out the squeeze anymore. I'm not getting the production, or fans are now starting to say, do we have to deal with this anymore? Or why should we have to deal with this anymore? We've given you everything. We've bought the season tickets. We supported buying your shoe. Like, I mean, and I know T very well, and I've even said to T's face. So what I'm saying to our viewers, I'm not trying to get clickbait. I've been telling T for 4 or 5 years, like, dog, take y'all's 100 million, go up to the skybox and drink all you want to drink. Nobody sees you, have all the fun you want. Take the glasses off. You haven't been in any movies, so why you got sunglasses on sitting front row of the game when the game's on TV? Stuff like that. It's like, come on. It's like people today, if you want to be seen, I get it. All about it. But it's about your son. And history shows, once we're tired of getting the squeeze, next. And that's what I'm afraid of for Ja, to answer your question.
All right, let's go to Dr. X next, and then AM.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about the contract. No one wanted to take him this year. So unless the Grizzlies have a reality check and figure out that we're just going to have to, is he more of a cancer? You just don't want him on the team. Then you're just going to have to get back some value, maybe do a scouting report, get back some value, but you're not going to, I guess they were trying to get some legit assets from him at trade deadline.
Yep.
And now I don't think they're capable of doing that. So whether they hold on to him because they want those legit assets still, or they think it's worth getting rid of him because he's going to disrupt the chemistry of the locker room. So I think they're going to try to get some assets for him, but their perspective has to shift. And I think they have to have a paradigm shift of trying to get back value, knowing that they're going to lose this one. The value they got for him was when he first arrived, and
there you go,
there was some hoopla there. So just
there you go.
Appreciate what you have there, and then just build a team, get a good asset that is worthy of being part of that locker room that will no one really knows about yet, but potentially if they do a good scouting report, they could get somebody that's worth it, and hopefully Ja lands someplace that is favorable for his career and his comeback.
AM, go ahead.
Every time we arrive at has X player played his last final game, and every time I agree and say, yeah, that's happening. They're wrong every time. So I'm not going to do that this time. Has he played his final game? No, Rick, you're probably right, especially because of the money and especially because of what everybody's saying in terms of no other NBA team wants him. But I'll take it a step further. It just wouldn't surprise, sadly, if Ja Morant, who is absolutely one of the most thrilling NBA basketball players who have graced the court in this last decade, if somewhere in the next 18 to 24 months, he isn't halfway around the world in either Europe or China, leading one of those teams to some other type of championship.
Ooh.
That's really where this feels like this is heading. It wouldn't surprise if the second half of his career is not in the NBA in any NBA city. But has he played his last game for Memphis? Probably not. Probably the first half of next year, you'll still see him in a Memphis jersey.
Interesting. You just played the Stephon Marbury card.
I did.
I didn't
know how Dennis Scott felt about a Georgia Tech.
No,
I was careful not to bring up the Beijing Ducks specifically.
No, the Beijing Ducks.
So it's just so funny. No, it's a great point you bring up, and Stephon Marbury is the perfect example because I was with him a couple weeks ago in New York, and just listened to his perspective and what he's gone through and how he was looked at 10 years ago and how people are looking at him now. And now he has 2 statues and he's fluently speaking in Mandarin. Like, it's a whole different perspective. But to your point, AM, can Ja change his favor and get us loving him again like everyone loves Stephon Marbury again?
You got a long way to go. And obviously, me bringing that up, it's just an analogy, a comparison. There's no hate with that. I'm fine with Stephon Marbury.
No.
There's a glare on it right now, but I got that picture. It's a famous picture if you're a Timberwolves fan. It's Kevin Garnett, and like in his arms is Steph Marbury after a win against the Clippers back in the day. It's got the glare on it right now, so you can't see it. But I mean, literally, I'm rocking Marbury on my wall every single day. I wish you could have played with my Wolves longer. One last quick point. I'm going to go over to Dwight. You guys were talking about dropping the value. You're totally hitting the nail on the head here. The Atlanta Hawks were bloodthirsty to get rid of Trae Young. They traded him for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. Corey Kispert is just a guy. CJ McCollum has been fantastic for them, but he's on an expiring contract, right? They got no draft picks Okay, so what if CJ goes to the Lakers in the offseason? The Hawks basically have nothing to show for Trae Young or Luka Doncic, but they still made the move, okay, because they were ready to get on from him. That's what Memphis has to do. They got to just take whatever offer is there, okay? You can't because they wanted a first-round pick. That's why they didn't trade Ja. They wanted a first-round pick. Nobody was willing to give it to them. Now they're stuck with Ja. You got to let that go, bro. You got to just take dudes to match salary and move on with your life. Dwight Walton.
And to continue on that, to me, this is a loaded question. Has Ja played his final game in Memphis? Possibly not, because, and I said it at the time, when the Trae Young to DC move was made, I immediately went to social media and I said, this is the exact same market that Ja Morant is going to get. Will the Memphis Grizzlies, however, want that same market? The difference is I think Trae was on the final year of his deal, so he was expecting an extension during this offseason, which the Wizards will give him. Ja's got 2 years left on his deal. Again, so it was more complicated. So when they realized they couldn't make a deal at the deadline, they pivoted and went to Jaren Jackson Jr., to me, which was the shock of all trades during the trading deadline. But that also indicated that the Grizzlies are trying to move on from that entire core. They got rid of Desmond Bane. They got rid of Jaren Jackson Jr. Ja Morant there's a disconnect. I could tell you that. There's a disconnect with the Morant camp and the Grizzlies organization. They want to move on from him, but they're trying, I guess, bide their time and to try to get the value, or at least some value, for what they think they can acquire for Ja Morant. If not this offseason, at next year's trade deadline, or at some time next offseason. That being said, yes, his off-court issues are well documented, right? But to me, I don't think the teams, the Grizzlies or the teams, his future teams that are interested in Morant are concerned about that. The reality is, Ja Morant has never been available. He's always injured. What are the most games he's played in a season? Is he averaging 50 games per season for his career? His availability has been null and void, quite frankly. His style of play is fantastic. It's dynamic. It's exciting to watch. He was must-see TV when the Grizzlies were relevant. But if he's not going to be around, what franchise is going to want to pay him all of that money if you're going to be hurt half the seasons that you play? So to me, that's the reality. Yes, the off-court stuff is definitely a part of Morant's journey, but his availability, to me, is the larger question that a lot of the future franchises will ask when they're trying to acquire Ja Morant in the future.
Well, I can tell you, Dwight, Ja Morant has never played 70 games. Let that sink in for a minute.
Yep.
He's never played 70 games. 60, and this is back in the day, 67, 63, 57, 61, and then all hell broke loose. 9, 50, 20. This is unbelievable. This guy's played 79 games in the last 3 years. And we bang on Anthony Davis and we bang on Joel Embiid. Ja Morant has worse attendance than both of these guys, which is really freaking hard to do. And that's, by the way, there's no congratulations with that, right? All right, so good roundtable there. Now, it's time for the rant. Dennis Scott, by the way, this has been just an absolute blast having you here. I know we're all geeked and happy about that. But DZ, you got anything you want to rant about? Any sort of final thoughts? Anything you got to get off your chest?
I'm a follow-up of what I started the show with the text that D-Dub put in our text thread the other day. The fact that our game has changed so much as an ex-player, and I fell in love with the game. And Rick, you know how much, and guys, you know how much I love my football. But basketball changed my life, pays the bills, my family's great, and all that. So the fact that we in the NBA have to force teams to win games to fix this tanking things, I mean, well, Doc, I need Doc. Doc, give me some medicine. Shoot me in my arm. Like, help me. Help. Find the vein, Doc. Find the vein. Please find the vein. Like, please. Like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Like, what? What? That's my rant. The fact that Dwight's text was so relevant and it hit me so hard. Force people to win games to change tanking. What are we doing? Where's the competitive
Where we're at.
spirit? That's worse than that Toyota commercial giving you a participation trophy.
That's so true.
That's
So
it. I'm
it's
done next.
it's a symptom of the wussification of America as we go to Dr. X with your rant.
Well,
Knicks.
I think
Knicks.
right. Yeah, of course. We're the capital of the world, man. Say it twice. So everybody hear it.
Tell him, Doc. Tell him.
But yeah, New York. Man, I just feel like the Knicks have an opportunity to put some respect in their name this whole playoffs. People, I don't think anybody's counting us out against the Hawks, but if they do beat us, they're gonna be, told you so, this, that, the other. They're like,
Right.
they want to see us fail. And I just know that we have a lot of fans all over the world, and that Atlanta Hawks stadium is going to be called MSG Part 2, unless the Hawks do something to prevent Knickerbockers from getting in. But every time we play them, unless the Hawks are beating us, you're going to hear a lot of Knick fans in that arena. So it's going to be must-see TV. But the Knicks overall, they got to get past the Hawks. They got to get past the Celtics. And I hope they see Detroit and they get past Detroit and they make it to the finals. And I hope it's Wemby, because not only do I think we have a chance to beat the Spurs, but that would just be an epic repeat of that finals when the Knicks played the San Antonio Spurs back then. But that will be an epic playoff performance or playoffs that we'll always remember. This one right here, the Knicks have a chance to, set the framework for what's to come. I think the Knicks championship window is starting right now, and it's probably going to extend for the next 3 to 4 years, depending on what they do in the offseason. And what they do this offseason is going to impact what they do this playoff is going to impact this window right here. So they have a chance to be a dynasty, I wouldn't say a dynasty, but at least bring back that love that we all have been waiting for decades. Not like 5 years, 7 years, but decades. From '94 and maybe '99. But I just feel like the Knicks. This is the time right now, man. So I hope the players did their research. I hope they know where they are in history. I hope they know the chance that they have to be great. And here it is, right here. It's not like it's not where it was last year, where everybody favored the Celtics to pretty much sweep us that series potentially. And but now they expect things, and we have a chance to prove people wrong. So I think we're in a perfect situation for this offseason, for this playoffs.
I just want to add, there's a very, and Doc, you know this, and I know Dennis knows this, and AM and Dwight, you may know this, and you probably do. The Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks take over State Farm Arena. And it might not be more than 50%, but they're louder than Hawks fans. I've been in that arena, 4 Lakers games, 4 Knicks games. You see orange and blue everywhere. You see purple and gold everywhere. And I worked, on the radio station in Atlanta, home of the Hawks. People were so pissed about that. They would call up and be like, everybody in Atlanta, listen to me right now. Stop selling your bleep tickets to all these Knicks fans. And the guy that sells his ticket is like, dude, I just made 3x on what I paid for the ticket. Screw you. I'm doing what I got to do. But so nothing's going to change with that. When, game 3 and game 4, if that happens, no, what do you mean if that happens? When that happens, in State Farm Arena, it is going to be a home away from home for the New York Knicks. AM Pfeffer.
Gentlemen, I'm going for the Simpsons hat trick today. I got to bring up one last line. When Milhouse says to Mr. Burns, you're the richest man I know. And Mr. Burns says, yes, but I'd trade it all in for just a little bit more. That's how I feel about the NBA playoffs. I'm rich in NBA playoffs. I am wealthy in first round and playing games, but I trade it all in for just more. I cannot wait. One of the best times of the year today, this Monday before the first playing game. I hope everybody out there is watching. I'll be watching. I hope my wife and kids understand. I know you all.
I love it. Dwight, I'm going to give you, it's you and me. That's all that's left here. I'm going to give you the option. Do you want to go next or do you want me to go next? Do you want to, in other words, do you want to go last or do you want me to go last?
No, you're the host. You can go last. I'll go now. You can go last.
Okay. Hit us, Dwight.
Right? So, you guys know I am a huge fan of today's NBA. And this is not any disrespect to Dennis and his era, going back to the 80s and 90s. I just think the skill set, the athleticism, just the overall skill of every player. Because the evidence is there. In today's NBA, with a few exceptions, you have to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. I think the day of the specialist are slowly going by the wayside. And if you want to compete in today's NBA, you have to be able to guard out to the three-point line. That includes the 5-man. You have to be able to guard in space, so on and so forth. The three-point shot has taken over. So I've spoken about the greatness of today's NBA, but I have to focus on the negatives of this season. We've had 8 teams this year with 55 or more losses. We've had 90 plus games of 30-point losses this season. We've only had 19 players this year to play all 82 games. Everything is shifting. All that to say, Adam Silver and the NBA's rules committee, the entire organization, has a lot to do this summer to correct these issues. We understand that this summer's draft is so unique to why a lot of these records have been established this season. Players not playing, teams positioning themselves, DZ, to lose so they can get one of these great players to play for them in the future. So again, those 3 things that I outlined have been a major negative to me in what was a great basketball season, but I can't ignore those statistics I just laid out. Adam Silver, you're on the clock, man. You're not going to get fired, but you have a lot to correct. You have a lot to do because this situation will happen again. We may not have a draft like the 2026 draft for the next several years, but you need to be proactive. Get rid of these issues now so when another historic draft comes up in the future, you have the proper system in place to squash all of this. Again, whether you agree with me or not, incentivize winning. That's the only way you're going to solve this. Money is not going to bother these billionaires. If you find the Utah Jazz $500,000, that's a parking ticket for you and me. That's nothing for them. Yes, you could take away draft picks, but ultimately, you've heard the general managers across the NBA say, dude, you can bring up all the rules that you want. If it's going to get me a draft pick, I'm willing to do it. However, if you tell a team that if they want to get a certain player and you have to win to get it, trust me, these front offices will change the course of their strategy. So again, for as positive as I am, I recognize the negatives that have happened this season. This may be a unique season because of the draft. But that being said, Adam Silver, be proactive, do what you have to do to make our game better so we don't have to have these discussions. It's great talking points for forums like this, but I think the fans are going to get sick and tired if they continually have to criticize or be critical of how teams are positioning themselves so they can get draft picks in the future. Adam Silver, you're on the clock. Get the job done so our game can be as beautiful as we want it to be.
Amen. And Adam on the clock with a do-rag as well. I have good news. I have good news for you, Dwight Walton. This is sort of a like appetizer to my rant. And I don't really have a rant where I'm going to be screaming and stuff today. But Adam Silver, okay, who I have called on to man up all year, reportedly shut down the idea of changing the 65 game rule in the last Board of Governors meeting. He said, in the league's view, the rule is working. Okay. So, Dwight, I bring that up because that's a flex. That's a flex by Adam Silver. Like, shut up. We're not changing the rule. You can bellyache, you can complain, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. We ain't changing a thing. All of these wussified reporters on Twitter putting out all of this, well, this guy played 2,200 minutes, but he's ineligible for the award. I mean, shut up. For real. Sorry, I am yelling now. But like, the rule is the rule. Stop complaining and get with it. All right, I just completely lied to you guys because I'm getting heated and you know, all that kind of stuff. Charles Barkley said, I mean, always Charles, the voice of reason. Hello. He said the players need to shut the hell up about the 65 game rule. Okay. He said, I don't think 65 games is a lot to ask. Shut the hell up. Y'all vote in the collective bargaining and now you want to complain. If y'all wasn't sitting on your ass half the time sipping margaritas and stuff, they wouldn't put the 65 games in there. Shut the hell up. I mean, once again, a mic drop moment from the great Charles Barkley. So I say all of that, Dwight, just to reassure you, Adam is going to clobber tanking. I don't know how, okay? We've all given our theories, but he is going to clobber tanking. He has to. The stats that you said, and it's just bad for business. Look, the last month of the NBA's regular season has been largely unwatchable. There have been a few scattered games that you get, like the Boston-Charlotte game the other night, right? And then, like, it's a 10-game slate, and you're like, 7 of these games are absolute baby puke, okay? And there's one really good game, and then 2 others that are You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that is not how you sell your product. All right. This is the last thing I want to say. The WNBA draft is tonight. And so I believe AZ Fudd is going to be the first overall pick. I would take Lauren Betts, okay? But I believe AZ Fudd is going first. So, like, it's a prediction, right? If I were Dallas, I would take Lauren Betts. But they're going to take AZ Fudd, and I do, like, agree with the mentality here. So you guys know it's very widely reported. Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd are dating. Okay. So look, you got to keep your star player happy. Okay. Do you think Paige Beckers wants the team to draft AZ Fudd or like kind of draft by need and take a big? She wants the team to take AZ Fudd. Okay. And think about this. The culture of the WNBA often leads to pairing partners. For years and decades, it's happened, okay? Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner in Phoenix, okay? There have been many other examples. So you have a bit of an issue with Dallas. Arike Ogunbowale, who is an absolute assassin, just signed a long-term extension to stay with the team. She took a little bit of a haircut off of the Supermax. She's making like $1 less than $1 million a year or something like that. Good for her. I love Arike Ogunbowale. She's 5'8". Paige Beckers is 6 foot. AZ Fudd is 5'11". Okay. It would be the best 3-pack of guards in the WNBA. I mean, you talk about scoring. Hello. You have 3 20s right there, right? At least. That's 60 points right there from those ladies right there. But defensively, it's going to present issues. But Dallas is so far from competing right now that I don't think you really worry about that. Think about Golden State. They drafted by need for James Wiseman. At this point, right, should have taken LaMelo Ball. They didn't, right? So they drafted need over best player, and it blew up in their face. Dallas just needs to, and like Lauren Betts and AZ Fudd to me is debatable, right? Who's going to have the better career? Probably going to be AZ because bigs tend to get hurt and stuff like that. I ain't trying to put that on you, Lauren, but, you know, we know. But anyway, that's what I think is going to happen. I'm psyched for the WNBA draft. And I'm a little bit ticked off at the Dallas Wings because they poached not 1, but 2 members of my Minnesota Lynx. They got Jessica Shepard, who was 3rd in 6th woman voting last year. She was terrific when Collier was out. And then they got Alana Smith, who's she's kind of like a Draymond Green type of player in the dub, like a jack of all trades, and she's fantastic. She's 6'4". Jessica Shepard is 6'4". So you could rock the 3 guards, and then you still have 2 bigs. So it's going to be interesting. We love the dub, and we're going to be talking a lot about it in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. Again, Dennis Scott. Dennis Scott, we love you. We love you, man. It's so good to have you here, man. And shout out to Trey. And shout out to Trey with the winner. All right. Big thanks to Mike Fratello. He is our guy. We love him. So for DZ, for Dr. X, for AM Pfeffer, for Dwight Walton, for our great crew, Jason Arambulo and Kai Josephson, I'm Rick Gamla. We will be back on Thursday, Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Pacific. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. I'm just going to say goodbye, peace, and we love you.